May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Would the people on this side of the cafeteria, Ryan is going to be trying to move you a little bit apart so we can meet the fire code and have a fire lane there.
Good evening, everyone. Really happy to see everyone here. Just want to cover one or two things for safety. First of all, there is a bathroom outside there and some bathrooms over there. Okay. Second of all, I know it might be tempting to move chairs. We're trying to keep an aisle right over here. It's hard to see, so that people can get up to speak easily. So if we can try to keep that path clear, I understand some people will stand, and that's fine. But if we can have sort of an aisle, so that's a pathway. And then the last thing is, it looks like you're doing this anyways, but if you have really big signs, it might be good to hold them up in the back so that people can see what's going on towards the front. Was there anything else? Okay. No, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? I'm going to make a request of everybody. There's a lot of people that want to speak here tonight. And I'm going to make a request that everybody treats each speaker with civility and courtesy. When they're up here speaking, please don't have your own meetings in the background. I think that's a matter of courtesy to the people that are going to be getting up and speaking. And I ask that you comply with that, otherwise I'll have to interrupt and gavel everybody down for a moment. I don't like doing that. So I would just like to say that right off the start. I'll call to order the special school board meeting of April 25th, 2012. For the pledge, Ryan? Ryan, where are you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No. Would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Please put your right hand over your heart and follow after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please
roll call, please.
Mr. Henderson?
Roll call.
Mr. Henderson?
Oh, here.
Dr. Sanchez?
Here.
Mr. Prescott?
Here.
Mr. Martinez?
Here.
Ms. Blanco?
Here, and to the chair, I'd like to say something before we proceed on this item.
Ms. Blanco.
I have the floor. Thank you. I know that we have spoken about being transparent to the community, and I'm here to say something to the community regarding being transparent to the community. I know that on previous agendas we have listed when we go into closed session and we have topics in regards to our superintendent. Our last week's meeting we had listed as evaluation. We were not evaluating the superintendent, we actually were in contract negotiations. So I hope that in the future that this board do practice what we preach and move forward with being transparent with the community. Thank you.
Adoption, order of agenda.
Move that we adopt the agenda as published.
I'll second that.
Moved in second to adopt the agenda as published.
Through the chair. Can I
Dr.
ask for who the author of the motion was?
That was me. Yeah.
Who the second was?
Prescott.
Prescott.
Thank you. And through the chair also, is there any members of the audience this evening that are needing to receive translation services in Spanish? Sorry. If there are any members of the audience that need translation services in Spanish, the district does have the capacity to do that. If you'd come up to this side of the stage, we can check out that equipment to you so that you can receive those services.
Mr. Kiley.
Yes, adoption of the agenda. I would ask that the closed session item be removed from the agenda for two reasons. Number one, it is not properly noticed. The Brown Act requires that real property negotiations specifically identify the other parties with whom the district is negotiating. This one does not. Therefore, it's illegally noticed. Second, I don't think that discussing at this point in time selling the Ingval property is something that, with everything else we've got going on in the district, is something to have going on in closed session when there hasn't been any public discussion of it. But in any event, it's not properly noted, so it can't be on the agenda tonight. Thank you.
We can remove it at the pleasure of the board. We can remove it at the pleasure of the board.
Well, that's beside the point.
I don't know if we have Lisa here. I don't know if we have Lisa here to rule that.
It was properly noticed.
It is?
Huh?
It is?
Okay. There's been a motion made and seconded to adopt the agenda as published. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. The next item is an action item on school closure. But before we get into that, I'd like to have the attention of the audience. There's a few things that need to be heard by everybody in this room. There has been actively a lot of misinformation, speculation, and outright misinformation intentionally by members of our community. The first one is, I've been on this board for 30 years, and I think Mr. Kiley and even Mr. Zelnick can back me up on this, that not at one time have we ever been approached by Church of the Highlands for rental of any school or any property in this school district, nor have I ever heard it from a superintendent or a staff member of this school district. That is totally false. Secondly, there is no movement in this district to create, or if Crestmore wound up closed, that we would sell this property. That is a process that takes months and maybe years to get through just by itself to be able to sell a school. And then what happens? You people are going to be noticed about that all along. And thanks to Mr. Kiley, he'll keep us honest. So those are just two things that I want to dispel. There's a lot of other things that have been said. If you don't hear it from the school board or from the superintendent or from the district office, they're not true. Trust me. Miss Skinner, hold on, please. Yes, Miss
That's
Skinner.
what I say, tough for me.
It's going to be a tough night.
Can you hear me?
Why?
All right. I feel compelled to interject, and I apologize, Mr. Henderson. I'm aware.
Little green light's got to come on.
It is on.
Hello?
It is on.
Okay. I am aware that last spring, approximately April, approximately the same time that the DDAC committee was formed, applications were solicited by the district to form a 7-Eleven committee. And for those of you who don't know what a 7-Eleven committee is, a 7-Eleven committee is a committee composed of 7 to 11 community members to consider declaring property surplus. Applications were taken at that time. However, the 7-Eleven committee did not convene, and those same applications have been held in abeyance. I was told at that time that that was done waiting for the results of the DDAC committee. So if you put that together, it says that after the DDAC committee made their findings, then there would be another committee to declare property surplus, which is the first step then in having a sale of surplus district property. Thank you.
Thank you for reminding me. I will just say this in response to the previous speaker, that was not about forming a 7-Eleven committee over Crestmore. It was about looking at what to do with Edgemont Center, where the district office is. Had nothing to do, that was not the plan, let's put it that way. But then again, everybody thinks that we're lying anyway, so I might as well just get on with it.
You are. You are.
Yes, ma'am, please. If you don't meet my request of giving everybody in here the courtesy of no outbursts, then please leave. I'm sorry. Courtesy comes first. Now, there's a couple of other things that I want to inform you of. Everybody wants to point the fingers at the school board and the superintendent as the culprits in this whole situation. It's not us that is creating the situation. There is this little highway in the middle of the state called Highway 99. There's Highway 80 going east to west and Interstate 5. Where they converge is commonly called Dysfunction Junction, better known as Sacramento. It's the state legislature and the governor who is creating these problems. Because we can't meet... Ma'am, please. The situation is you've got a governor who wants to increase taxes and so on and so forth, and he is blackmailing the public, as far as I'm concerned, by the legislation that he's introduced, which then trickles down to us. We have to put it. We're going to be we face this year budget cuts in the middle of the year after our budget was already completed for 6 months. Now, is that the essence of a legislature and a governor who's supposed to support education? I don't think so. We have to do what the state tells us to do, and we don't have many choices in that.
I'm sorry, we have to go to the podium.
Because it's not time for that.
The state of California.
Please mention your name, please.
My name's Jamie Monazon. I'm a Parkside mom and a John Muir mom. And the state of California we're number 51 on the list we're beneath Puerto Rico. So living in the Bay Area here in San Mateo County, there are other communities facing the same budget cuts, but people are gravitating toward them because of their school district. Burlingame, San Carlos, those are community efforts. People like this in this room who want to make San Bruno a better place. That's why we're all here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. In any case, everybody wants to understand where and why this stuff is happening. And this is happening, it's being pushed on us by the state. We are not actively choosing to do what we do when we're getting cut. There's no place else to cut in the budget. There really isn't. For the past 2 years, we've ran without a superintendent in charge of special education. People sit there and shake their heads and say, no, that's not true. But it is true. We don't have Mrs. Skank, who used to be the associate superintendent in charge of curriculum, and we don't have Pam Robertson anymore, who was the superintendent in charge of special education. Those are decisions that we consciously made, this board made as a total, to maintain the direct service to schools and students that we all adhere to. Last meeting, I would like to recognize a lady by the name of Heidi Beck. Heidi, are you here tonight? Heidi, stand please. Heidi Beck got up at the last meeting and said that you people need to be better informed by coming to school board meetings. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you how many meetings I've been to over the years where we didn't even have anybody in the audience except a staff member. That's who we do all of our work in front of. So please adhere to what Heidi said, come to the board meetings. We want you there, so you are informed. In any case, the other two people that I would like to recognize are Megan Connery and Michelle Reese-Martinez. Please stand. Martinez. These two ladies took about 12 weeks out of their time and were pretty much led the DDAC committee in its hearings. And I think they did a pretty damn good job considering all of the things that were going on with and in that committee.
To the chair, you've been speaking, Steve, you've been speaking for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'll maybe take another 5 minutes, Jennifer. You'll have your turn as well.
Continue with the meeting. I don't think the community wants to hear you keep
Ms. Byrne?
Hi, I'm Mrs. Burns. I teach kindergarten here at Crestmore, and my concern mainly is for the children, especially the children in this room. I do have something to say, but I think all of us adults with a lot of patience, I know El Crystal prepared a lot of their students, and I know there are some kids that would like to get up and talk, and I think out of interest, it's a school night, lots of young kids here, and lots of emotion that I'm not really sure we want the children around, and if they need to talk, we need to let them talk, and then let them go home.
Good
And
idea.
I'll talk later.
I think she's absolutely correct, but I would like to see the board have a discussion after the children speak, because normally what happens is all the parents come up and then they talk and then they have to sit down because they're not allowed to speak again. And things that are said on the board that parents would like to react to, they can't do that. So I think since you've had the report, you've read the recommendation, everybody has seen it, I think there should be a round where the board starts laying out what they see, how they see it, so that when the community addresses the board, we can address your concerns instead of being stuck sitting down while you go in directions that we want to get up and repeat ourselves more clearly, and then we're locked down in our chairs. So I think the board really should take the step after the children to communicate where they are on this issue so that we can address those as the public. Thank you.
Would you please state your name for the record?
Hi, my name is Aiden Steckley.
Just turn it on.
It's on.
My name is Aiden Steckley. I go to El Crystal School, and I just want to say that you're not just firing teachers, moving kids to new schools. You're breaking up friends that have known each other for 4 years, and you're pretty much breaking up a community. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Madison. I go to Rollingwood Elementary, and I spoke last time. I wanted to say that my school has been open for about 50 years now, and I want them to be open for 50 more years with every single school. I don't want my school to be open. I want all my friends' school to be open, even other community schools to be open. I want the teachers to still have jobs. I want them to have a higher pay because they do get all the credit they need. And these teachers really do care about their students. So I just wanted to say think really hard and thoughtful about what you guys are going to decide about whose schools closing, which I think should be none.
Hi, my name is Holly Gomez, and I go to El Cristo School, and I'm going to read a poem. Why close El Cristo School, said the ode on the urn. Why close El Cristo, left alone we might burn? Why close El Cristo, said the sign on the steeple. Why close El Cristo, don't you like our kind of people? Why close El Cristo, said the priest as he prayed. Why close El Cristo, don't you like the progress we have made? Why close El Cristo, said the teacher to her class. Why close El Cristo, afraid we might all pass? Why close El Cristo, said the mechanic to the car. Why close El Cristo, can't you see the growth we've shown thus far? Why close El Cristo, said the cobbler to the soul. Why close El Cristo, when we're on this techno roll? Why close El Cristo, said the farmer to the barn. Why close El Cristo, we've done you no harm. Why close El Cristo, said the fork to the food. Why close El Cristo, are you in a foul mood? Why close El Cristo, said the sailor to the sea. Why close El Cristo, why close El Cristo, we gave you the sad plea. Why close El Cristo, said the cloud to the rain. Why close El Cristo, cause us this great pain. Why close El Cristo, said the dolphin to the whale. Why close El Cristo, we just began to write a great tale. Why close El Cristo, said the shoe to the toe. Why close El Cristo, when all we've done is help our children grow.
Good evening. My name is Alexia Villarreal. I attend the 6th grade at El Cristo Elementary. I'm currently in the 6th grade at El Cristo Elementary. I've been attending El Cristo since 2006. Our El Cristo was the third school that was added to the San Bruno Park School District in 1948. In 1963, my grandmother, Frances Ferreira, was part of the first generation of my family to attend El Cristo. Along with her were 3 of my great aunts and 2 of my great uncles. In 1982 started the second generation of my family to attend El Cristo, including my mother in 1987. 9 family members were a part of that second generation. The third generation started with me in 2006. I have a sister in 4th grade, a brother in 1st grade, and another brother in kindergarten. I also have 2 more brothers who await to attend El Cristo. As you can see, my family has a special history with the school. I'm a straight-A student. I've been on honor roll since 4th grade. And I couldn't have made it this far without the dedication of the El Cristo staff and my current principal, Mr. Johnson. El Cristo School not only gives you the best available teachers out there, but gives you the warmth feeling of a community so close where everyone knows everybody's name and knows what's going on with us students. From my perspective, I've always felt safe and welcomed into an environment that carries such a positive energy that makes me happy to wake up every morning and attend 180 days of the school year at El Cristo Elementary. Board members, I stand before you in front of all these concerned people and to demand you that you leave El Cristo and all other schools untouched by any decisions you may come across. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ali Lapis, and I am a student at El Cristo School. San Bruno is called the City of the Heart, and board members, please have a heart.
Hello, I'm Jasmine Furpo, and I'm 8 years old, and this is my brother Tyler Furpo. I really don't want you to close Old Crystal because this is the place I really thought I belonged. Please don't close Old Crystal.
My name is Mason Rafi, a second grader at El Crystal School. Dr. Hutt, why do you want to close our school? You might think it's a bad idea to have split classes, but it actually is a good idea. I'm in a 2-3 split class and I get really good grades. My lexile is in the top 5 of the class. Another reason split classes are good is the kids in the lower grade can review what they are going to learn in the next year. When I'm doing my work, I can hear the 3rd grade do their work, and because of that, I have helped my older sister, Grace, do her homework. I don't think any school in San Bruno should be closed. Thank you.
Excuse me.
My name is
Excuse me just a moment. Is there any way you can turn that microphone up? We can hardly hear him. Okay, thank you.
My name is Oliver Otake. I'm a 4th grader at El Crystal School. I love my teachers at El Crystal, and I want my little brother to have the same great teachers that I had. Please don't close our school.
Hi, San Bruno School Board members. My name is Carlos Gonzalez. I attend El Crystal School. Please don't close my school because it would be a waste of money because we just had new windows installed and we also have a bunch of new technology. Thank you. Hello, my name is Nick Gomez, and I don't want to close our El Crystal School because some people don't want to go to other schools. Thank you.
Hello, I am Alicia Rich. I go to Crestmore School, and the reason why I don't want you to close down Crestmore is because all the friends that go to Crestmore will be separated, and all the great teachers will lose their jobs.
I'm Gabby Harold, and I'm in 6th grade here at Crestmore, and I'm saying that you should not close any of our schools because it's not nice to all the kids. Right now, we're all here because we're trying to unify San Bruno schools, but if you close any of the schools and not close the others, or if you decide, oh, we're just going to close this school and this school, we're not going to be unified anymore. We're going to be split. And you've already said that closing a school won't bring you the money, enough money that you need. So why go through all the trouble to close our schools? And finally, you want us to look up to you and to respect you, but who's going to respect the people who decide to close our schools?
Hello, my name is Helen, and I'm a member. I'm a student at this school, Crestmore Elementary, and I'm currently attending the school in 6th grade. The decision to vote on the closure of this school deeply saddens me and scars me emotionally to think of all the students who have been here from the start to leave behind friends, teachers, and experiences. When the school closes, what will be left of this community as a whole? I believe in receiving good education will not only strengthen the community, but will strengthen this generation and many generations to come. But what will happen when you decide to close this school? Many of us will feel lost, helpless, and emotionally scarred. I feel we will lose something of tremendous value, something we have all gained over time, and those values fall within our teachers and our peers, and as a student myself, I would not tolerate this great loss. Thank you for giving me the time to voice my opinion.
Hi, my name is Miranda Perez, and I'm currently attending El Crystal School. The reason why I'm up here is because I am against school closure, because I'm about to go in Parkside. My little sister hasn't had the chance to go in the first grade, second grade, third grade, and my other sister is in the same grade. So I would like to have them get a chance to be in with these wonderful teachers, Ms. Vale, Ms. Hennessy, Ms. Wee, and currently other teachers. So I just want to be against this school closure because it really hurts my heart that I'm going to be going to another school, but my favorite school is not going to be existing anymore. Thank you.
My name is Sarah Aguirre. I attend El Crystal School, and I think it's a bad idea closing the school because you're cutting off the education for other kids that are still in a small grade. I'm finishing this school, but my brother's still going, and I think it's a bad idea to do that. My favorite teachers are at this school, and I feel really sad. Please don't close it. I want more generations to go around and to enjoy this school more and more. Please don't close it, and please be generous. Have a good heart, and don't do bad. Don't close it, please. It's really selfish if you do that, because you're just taking off education for kids to learn more. And have a good heart. Don't have a hard one.
Hi, my name is Nikki Castro, and I am attending El Crystal School. I don't want you to close this school because I've been through all these teachers and they're really nice, and I want other people to enjoy all their laughs and everything that they have to teach them. You're not just breaking up a school, you're breaking up a family. That you're going to break up friends and the teachers. Like, you won't be able to see them again, and it's sad to see them go. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Kira Mingus, and me and my friend Alice graduated Crestmore 7 months ago. It saddens me to know that my brother and all the rest of the Crestmore students won't get the privilege to graduate Crestmore and El Crystal if you do close them down.
To me and probably a majority of the students, we feel like Crestmore is a home away from home. And for the El Crystal students, El Crystal is their home away from home. A lot of kids go to Reach here at Crestmore, and this program really helps busy parents. No Crestmore means no Reach, putting a great amount of stress on parents. Do you honestly believe it's easy for parents to leave in the middle of work, pick up their child, drop them off at home, then go back to work every day?
This school has given me many amazing things, but one thing that really stands out is the friendships you make here. By closing Crestmore and El Crystal, you'll be pulling these friendships apart. These students will lose out on those friendships if you do close Crestmore and El Crystal. Crestmore has also given me a unique set of teachers and staff. All of my teachers have always presented me with new teaching methods to help me understand and learn the topics. For example, I had the most amazing 4th grade teacher, Miss Shapiro. She was always helping you and gave you the attention you needed to fix what you were struggling with. At the end of the school year, Miss Shapiro moved, and the new 4th graders didn't get to learn Miss Shapiro's teaching methods, but they did learn from the new teachers that we didn't get to learn from. So what I guess I'm trying to get at is if you do close Crestmore and El Crystal, the teaching methods and activities wouldn't get to be learned by these students in the community. So now I want you to stop and ask yourself, are we even going to consider closing Crestmore and El Crystal?
Do you really want to take away their home away from home? Deprive this community and its students from their friends and experiences?
Thank you for your time. Please consider the information we've presented to you.
Hi, my name is Oscar Zalea. I'm in second grade in El Crystal School. Please don't just close my school, but if you do, I'm gonna really feel really sad. But if you don't, I'm gonna feel really happy.
Hello, my name is Alton Rick. I don't think that the school should shut down because it's not a good idea because
Because he needs to speak right. Okay, thank you.
I don't think the school should shut down because there's nice teachers here and Hello, my
Folks, you know, one thing, you don't hear it, but up here, we hear a big murmur in the background, and we can hardly hear what the kids are saying, even with the malfunction. So, anyway, please keep it down.
Hello, my name is Khaleesi Tiapa. I am a second grader in Crestmore Elementary. I am here tonight to ask the board with a very respectful heart to please don't close Crestmore. This is a second home for me and three siblings. Closing my school is like taking away my home from my family. In the other word, closing Crestmore is like taking parents away from their children. This school meant a lot to my family. Crestmore makes me feel like home or feel belonging. The principal and teachers have done their best to educate us to the highest. Please close your eyes and open your heart for us. I pray every day that your hearts may change. Please don't take away my future.
Hi, my name is Cassie Cuenca, and I go to El Crystal School. Please don't close El Crystal School because then that would be splitting up friendships and some teachers will be fired and they won't have a different job. So please don't close El Crystal.
Hi, my name is Clutch. I go to Crestmore School. And this is my friend Luke.
Every day we walk to school, and if together, and we live about 2 blocks away, and if we get transferred, we can walk to John Muir, but if you guys transfer us to Rollingwood, we won't be able to walk, and it's really fun.
Hey, my name is Tyler Furpa, and I just have one question to ask. Why close a school?
Hi, I'm Joy Manahan. I currently go to Crestmore, and I have a sibling that goes here, and I want her to graduate like I am this year. And also, a lot of other people have siblings, and they won't. If you close these schools, they won't have a chance to graduate, and they would have to transfer.
Save Crestmore! Save Crestmore!
No, doesn't work. Okay. Good afternoon. My name's Elisa DeMarty. I'm a former Crestmore student. I graduated in 2008. I came down here with my friend Jordan. We both are Crestmore students. And we came down here just because we heard it was closing. Heartbroken, we walked through the halls and... we walked into the halls and I came across one of the tiles that was on the board. And it was my old librarian's, and she had passed away from cancer, and I started crying because it just brought back all my memories from Crestmore. And it, like a lot of these wonderful kids have been saying, it's not just a school, it's a family. And it breaks my heart to see that you guys are even thinking about taking it away from them. And I don't know.
Honestly, we both live right down the street, and we've both lived here since we were 5. We went to Crestmore from 5 to 6th grade. We had the teachers that we had, and it was amazing. We both loved it here. Crestmore is a part of our community. It's part of our neighborhood. You know, we walk by it all the time. We both go to Cappuccino. We drive by it every day. We go to school. Like, this is our community. This is one of the biggest parts of our neighborhood, and we don't want to lose it.
Well, my name is Charlene Smith, and I'm a former Crestmore student. I came here in kindergarten, and then I left in 5th grade to go somewhere else. Well, I oppose closing all schools in San Bruno, but if you have to close Crestmore, then, well, did you know that just down the hill from here at Bay Hill Shopping Center, that Molly Stone and Starbucks and Sorry. Well, yeah. Okay, well, in our school district, in Crestmore school district, there's only 80 kids in our school district. Well, no, in our area for our school. In our school. Okay, I just love this school a lot, and I'm so scared that if you close this school, I've just had so many childhood memories here, and I'm just like, it's just like heartbreaking to hear that you might close the school. And please just don't close the school.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think all the boys and girls did a good job. Yes, you did. I'm Karen Byrne. I teach kindergarten here at Crestmore, but I've worked at other schools in the district, and I was coming in and seeing all my coworkers and colleagues, and it's sad to get together on such a sad occasion. As I was talking to them coming in, it's been a rough couple of years up here, and the uncertainty of school closure has taken a heavy emotional toll on a lot of people, and it's sad and it's heartbreaking that 5-year-olds can come up here and phrase things better than some adults. There's been some hurt feelings around, and I think that as an educator in this district, I think we all feel our schools are important for very particular reasons, and I feel bad that this has created such a divisive thing in the community. There are special things about every school. If there was parents and they had a budget and times were tough, as they are, and they said, well, we just can't afford one of you. So, you need to decide who needs to go. Let us know. Get back to us on that. As a parent, I have seen what, fights in your house can cause. So, I just wanted to say that I understand why the community there has been that tension, because, it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. When we show up to work, we sometimes see kids, making mistakes, fighting amongst each other, playing favorites. We see that with children. But as caretakers of the school district and of the schools, I expect that you would explore all options carefully. I would expect there not to be the squabbling. I would expect to be professional and to make unbiased decisions. Teachers talk about educating the whole child, emotionally, socially. And I need you, I beg you, I implore you that when you make these tough decisions that you think of the whole child, not just the dollars and cents, the emotional, social welfare of all of our children.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Sanchez, and I am a mother of 2 that go to El Cristo School.
Please. Thank you. I'm sorry, ma'am.
I know you guys are talking about budget cuts, but I'm
sorry, ma'am.
I've been doing my own budget cut in my own home. No.
No, I understand.
No, you don't. I'm a single mother of 2 children, renting in San Bruno County. And if you can tell on the computer trying to find rent in San Bruno County, and I'm only a high school graduate, and I'm living very well over my means. I put into this school when they have festivals, when my kids have field trips, when the school asks me for money. Now I'm wondering, why is my school asking me for money for these field trips that my kids are taking? Why am I putting into a school for their lunches? Why am I putting into the school for activities, for PE? I'm putting in this money, and I'm taking care of 2 kids by myself, on rent by myself, with no help. I work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and I put in so many overtime. I put so many hours. I don't pay for childcare because I have my family, but you know what? The loss that I have to put in that overtime to make sure that my kids have a school nearby, I take my 5-year-old daughter, and I have her transported from kindergarten to Rollingwood. It's the only daycare that I have that will transport my 5-year-old because I have to work from 9 to 5. If you guys close that school, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm over here struggling with just my daughter going to Parkside. And I have no way of transporting my daughter. I'm struggling because I'm hoping my job doesn't change my hours, which I'm supposed to be on a 12-hour. I'm supposed to be working 12 hours. That means from 6 in the morning to 6 at night, or 6 at night to 6 in the morning. Again, I'm a single mom. I do my budget cut in my home. And no one helps me. So if I can do it in my home, I'm sure you guys can do it within this district. Think about all the kids that walk to school. Think about all the kids that walk to school and the parents that are not at home to drive them or pick them up, and they are struggling themselves. That's one thing that nobody has been talking about, and that's one thing that everybody's lacking. If it's not something that is a big need, and I understand money, I get it. I would love to take my kids on a Disneyland trip. I would love to take my kids on trips, and I'm sure that you guys have taken your kids on. I don't have the luxury to do that. So instead, if it comes down that I have to put in more money to the district, I would do it. Maybe that's something that you guys should consider yourselves to as San Bruno community. It's committing out of your pocket as well.
Dr. Hutt and members of the board, my name is Kat Mingus. My beautiful daughter, Kira, who got up and spoke earlier, benefited from 7 great years at Crestmore. My son, Matthew, has been here for 3 years. I want to take a moment for us to focus on our successes here in this district and with our school. Crestmore has an excellent education rating that keeps getting better, with the California State Academic Performance Index growing from 859 of 1,000 in 2010 to 875 in 2011. Crestmore has the highest scores in the district. Crestmore is a tight, trusted, and well-respected school community. The family program fosters peer-to-peer interactions with kinders to 5th and 6th grades. Not all kids at Crestmore may be tight or friends, but all of these kids know each other, and I'm sure that's the same as El Crystal or any school in the district. When the blast occurred and shattered Glenview, the Crestmore community came together in a band of strength. Neighbors helping neighbors, creating and supporting a foundation in a dire time of need. Now, on a personal note, my son was diagnosed with T-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia in August before he started kindergarten here. Months later, a classmate of his was diagnosed with leukemia. Same teacher, same classroom, same school. Matthew missed most of his kindergarten year. With the guidance of Mrs. Byrne and then Miss Sheridan, we got him on a 504 program. He had to repeat kindergarten, but with the great support that we had, we couldn't have done it without our teachers. Now, in the 1st grade, Matthew hit an educational roadblock due to the toxic chemo treatments that he takes. Ms. Stuffner was key to seeing the fast downward spiral that Matthew was on, and we quickly worked together as a team. Other parents with other children who have special needs or different educational needs that I have met across California, the San Mateo County, and even previous years at Crestmore shared with me the horrors of navigating an IEP, or Independent Educational Plan, suggesting my husband and I arm ourselves with attorneys and outside legal resources as we entered the process with the San Bruno Park School District. You know what? None of that was needed, and I'll tell you why. We have the support of Mr. Haven, Mrs. Duffner, Mrs. Byrne, Dr. Barbara Davidson, Mr. Mueller. They all pulled together, they documented and executed on Matthew's IEP. It was our Crestmore team that made the difference, and you will not find that anywhere else. Why on God's green earth do you want to systematically destroy the successes our school took decades to build, destroy our community, destroy our trust and the trust of our children, and possibly destroy your integrity as a board? I am urging you to do what's right for our community. Keep our schools open and focus your attention on positive returns of investment. It has been shared that you're open to alternative and creative ways to increase income. Here's just a few. Partner with the city to create mutually benefiting programming. Rent out the school during non-school hours. Call on us, your community. We are strategic business managers, accountants, marketers, bankers, volunteers, educators, and civic leaders. We are a diverse, skilled, and educated community with a deep-seated root and a clear vision of the future of San Bruno. Personally, over the last 8 years, I've supported the efforts of an early childhood education center, a K-8 school, a community center built by a very special and committed community like ours in San Bruno, with the support of a major city in San Mateo County. But what do I know about schools? With that said, just to clarify and set some expectations with the board and the family members and kids that are here, so that we're all on the same page. If you are truly open to new and creative ideas, does this mean that you will not close any school and that you will look beyond the unsuccessful status quo that you have created to allow for quality, thorough, results-driven, alternate business plans to be produced? Will we move beyond this? And will you allow the community to help the district? I'm waiting for an answer, as is this entire room.
I would personally welcome it, as I'm sure the rest of the board would. And
is it too late?
It's never too late. Go ahead, Dr. Sanchez.
It's never too late. We can accomplish many things. We have to work as stakeholders all together in the community. As I was saying, the ability to comes in and out. The ability to overcome obstacles like this or these topics that all school districts in the country and this state as well is facing. These are just one of the options that people look at. We've done this in looking at various aspects of putting, I think, another discussion item, parcel tax revenue. You pointed out in terms of looking at other alternatives in terms of shared services. We've looked at that for the last couple of years, going to other districts and trying to share the salaries and looking at this.
How about with the city of San Bruno?
The city.
No, that's all right.
We've also gone to the city as well, looking at how we can use, for example, a lot of the sports activities that a lot of the youngsters participate in San Bruno.
And what happened with those efforts? We're currently not, at least Crestmore, is not a field that is used by the San Bruno Parks and Rec. It is, however, used by other sports leagues throughout San Mateo County.
Well, one of the things we tried to put out a bond issue this last November to repair all the fields so they could be utilized by many different organizations to increase income to the school district.
How about if we get a grant from one of our local Home Depots to come in with a crew of people and a crew and supplies, and we do it ourselves. And we make this field viable and sellable and rentable.
These are all good suggestions.
Then let's move on it.
One step at a time. Thank you for your input.
So in closing, and I very much appreciate that you're addressing our questions tonight, I want to share something really important to me. Our kids at Crestmore learn character traits, and that is respect. To earn respect, you have to show respect. I'm asking the board to be the hero, to do what's right for the community, to help teach our children respect by leading with respect. Keep our schools open. As a matter of fact, a bigger lesson can be learned here. Turn us into a magnet school. Teach them entrepreneurial skills during this process. Create parallel programs shadowing these new partnerships and get the kids involved. There's so many wonderful positive opportunities. And to close our schools it's a short-term decision. It's not a long-term investment. Thank you. Oh. And to support our efforts at Crestmore, here's our petition signed by 939 concerned citizens, which I'm sure has filled up your inboxes.
Now, that is a hard act to follow. But I would like to ask, first and foremost, I want to say that no school should be closed. But I'd like to ask our El Crystal community to stand up and share our El Crystal pledge so that they can understand our principles and what we stand and believe in. I pledge for myself, my family, my school, and my country to be the best person I can be, to learn all that I can learn, and to treat others as I would like them to treat me. Obviously, there are a lot of high emotions. I would like to address them to a certain degree and get to the recommendation and to the total school solutions that it was based upon. First, let me tell you, my name is Shauna Vale. I have been at El Crystal since 2002. When I began at El Crystal, we were not meeting the state's expectations. And in the past 10 years, not only have we exceeded the expectations, but we did become a California Distinguished School. We have received over $250,000 from the Danford Foundation to support our demonstration school of technology. Each teacher agreed and applied to do training to ensure that our classrooms were state-of-the-art classrooms to teach our students, our children, our community. And I just really think that you need to remember that. But what I want to refer to now is I've read Dr. Hutt's recommendation multiple times. I'm not going to lie to you, Dr. Hutt. On a Friday night, to be checking your work email just because you want to see if a student needs you, a parent has something to say, and to find an agenda post after the district has closed and everyone has gone home, and to find that your school, who the week before was number 5 in the committee's recommendation for closure, to see your school that you love and that these children love, to see that on a Friday night when I had no other way to reach out. But thank God I created an email community and a social networking community that we could get the word out. Dr. Hutt, I have always treated you with respect, always, and courtesy and civility. I was not treated as I treat others. There were no administrators that were even aware that this was being added. This is a crime to me. It feels disgusting and despicable. Okay, done with the emotions. Now let me get to business. In In Dr. Hutt's recommendation, there are some things I'd like to touch upon, and there are a lot of teachers here, and I would like to ask the teachers, at any point, did Dr. Hutt ask you how you felt about combination classes? If you felt isolated in your community school, at any point, were any of you asked that question? No. And yet, what Dr. Hutt states in his recommendation, the reason for closing 2 schools, is that the impact the combination classes have on learning. 3 out of 10 years of my teaching, I taught combination classes. And you were with me through them. And you can look at my students and you can look at them and they are succeeding and they are wonderful learners. A combination classroom with any qualified teacher is no different from any other classroom. You know your standards, you know your curriculum, and you know how to teach children of all abilities. Referring to the idea of isolation, El Crystal and Crestmore are families, we're communities. I don't need another 4th grade teacher to talk to about teaching. We're all teaching the children. So I can turn to anyone on my staff. Mr. Johnson, I can turn to Pam Morse, the kindergarten teacher. It doesn't matter, I'm not isolated. And it's not giving me a lot of credit because I'm pretty educated and I know how to figure things out. You also state that the Total School Solution Report identified 2 schools to close in the succeeding school year. And before I brought this up, I made sure that I had the final draft of that report before I spoke. What this report states clearly, closure of El Crystal Elementary School. Closure of El Crystal Elementary School does not result in balanced school enrollments at other school sites. El Crystal is in the area of the district where the travel restrictions are most severe and where the student population density is closer to the schools. Closing El Crystal requires some students to have to travel distances in excess of 2 miles. Closure of El Crystal Elementary would require either larger enrollment or Allen, or if students are assigned to John Muir, the walking distance would be excessive. I keep reading this report to understand your recommendation, and I used my highlighter like a good little teacher. El Crystal's proximity to Allen and Bel Air allows the school to reduce the travel distance and the number of students required to cross El Camino Real. Everything I'm finding in this report, it doesn't make sense. It's not matching up with your recommendation, and I don't understand. I agree that there are other creative situations. Mr. Henderson, we understand that it's not the school board that's giving us the money. We are all taxpayers. We understand that the state of California is in a huge budget crisis. We are all experiencing it every day, personally, with our families, and etc. So we are not blaming you. What we are asking you is to be open to more creative ways of doing things. One of the beautiful reasons why I decided to work at this district was because of the fact that there were small schools and we know each other's names and we know one another, and parents can come to me 7 years later and talk to me about their kids. That's what makes us special. So I'm going to say, based on both my emotions and my intellect, please do not close any schools. Do not close El Crystal. Do not close Crestmore. Please find another way. Find another way. Thank you for listening.
Through the chair, if I can make an announcement, if we can just ease up a little bit on the microphone. Somehow the last microphone broke. I know that we're all emotional right now, but...
Now, I also see that we have a bunch of people lined up and so on. But there are a lot of people here that want to speak. I haven't imposed a time limit. But now if everybody wants to have an opportunity to speak, I'm going to ask you to be a little bit more brief in your comments so everybody else will have an opportunity as well. Or do you want me to impose a time limit? I don't know. I'm going to leave it open at this point in time, but please try and keep it down to less than 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jessica Bean, and I'm the mother of 2 Crestmore kids, kindergarten and 2nd grade. And I had planned to come here tonight following last week's meeting, where it was very clear to me, and what seems very evident tonight, that the community is united in its opposition to close any schools. Parents last week from both Crestmore and Rollingwood stood before you and urged you to not close any school. Following that plea came Dr. Hutt's recommendation. The school closure discussions up until now have been about closing 1 school, and it's been pretty much about Crestmore. Then last Friday, Dr. Hutt recommended the closure of Crestmore and El Crystal. This recommendation, clearly put together in haste, and obviously not reading the same report that was just read, and the rug being pulled out from under El Crystal like that, speaks volumes about this district's lack of vision, your lack of direction, lack of creative thinking, lack of strategy, and lack of support of the schools in this community. It's very disappointing, and it's very unnerving that this is the person that oversees our schools. It's even more disappointing that in that recommendation, Dr. Hutt recommends that these closures happen if current enrollment drops by more than 30 students next year. I don't know what your intent of that statement was, but all schools are losing 30 students. They're all moving to Parkside. So of course, we're all going to lose 30 students from enrollment. I think it's a devious attempt at a loophole in language to close 2 schools, and I think this recommendation should not even be considered by the board. And I'm not going to reiterate what so many others have said tonight and last week and in blogs and on newspapers, but I do want to point out that we understand that school closures are sometimes necessary. I don't think it's fair, Mr. Henderson, to blame Governor Brown. We understand that school closures are sometimes necessary. But you wouldn't have this opposition to school closure if the board and the district could come to us and say, look, we've exhausted all other alternatives. We've done this, we've done that, all of these things, and now, after exploring all these other alternatives, we have no other choice but to look at school closure. But we have not been presented with any other information as an alternative other than school closures. So we urge you to dismiss this last-minute, poorly put together recommendation by Dr. Hutt. We urge you to not vote for any school closure, and we urge you to remove the school closure discussion from all future agendas until all other alternatives have been exhausted. Thank you.
My name is Julie Furpo. You don't have to, I don't need a mic. My family in El Crystal knows. And you can hear me without one. I want to ask you personally, Dr. Hutt, why did you recommend to close my children's school? My father just recently passed away, and it was this school's community that helped me to get by. My brother, at the age of 55, he went to El Crystal. My sister at 51 went to El Crystal. I went to El Crystal. My 9- and 8-year-old daughter and son, Jasmine and Tyler, are now there. I'm disgusted. I feel like I need a shower. How dare you? This last Friday you did this. Don't ignore me. I'm right here. How dare
I see you.
How dare
Please,
you
ma'am.
go and recommend without letting anybody know? I am so beyond myself I can hardly stand it. I mean, this is disgusting. What are you doing? Honestly, go in the mirror.
Please, ma'am. Please.
My father was one of the first people in San Bruno. He lived on 2nd Avenue. We own partial property in this place. We have a lot invested here. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let you guys sit back and start closing things because you don't have any other reason. Who do you think you are? You can't blame a governor. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look at yourselves in the mirror. Look at yourselves, especially you, Dr. Hutt.
Dr. Hutt and ladies and gentlemen of the school board, I stood before you last week explaining to you why you should not close my children's school of Crestmore. Today, I stand before you with a different topic. This conversation about closing a school has taken us away from what we really need to be focused on. How do we raise money and funds so we don't have to be at the whim of the state of California? The public has yet to see an actual budget from you or the actual number that you need. Tonight, you have a room full of people who believe in public education and they want the best for their children. If you gave us that magic number and gave us a chance to raise it, we could do that. But with the threat of a number dropping and a money dropping by October, this does not help the situation. I feel that this trigger is setting Crestmore and El Crystal communities up for failure. So why not take that off the table and give us a chance? Let us help you solve this problem. The people in the room want to help you. You just need to give us the information that we need to make this happen. You, the school board, you are in charge of the district. This decision is yours and yours alone. Do you want a school district where the community is proud of their schools? One where all of the residents choose to send their children there? Or would you like a school district where the residents choose to send their children elsewhere, and you spend the remainder of your time on the board closing school after school because families with children no longer want to live in San Bruno? It is your decision. As it has been said, the people and the children of San Bruno deserve so much better than this. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kim. I've never met you before. I go to El Crystal. If you would come to my school, you might know that, right? I've seen a couple of you before at my school. And so I have a couple of points to make really quickly. You talked about courtesy earlier. When our kids were parading through here, there was a couple of you in particular that were not looking at our kids. And I want you to remember that we are in this room right now because of our kids. That's my first point. Point number 2. You said that we should be coming to the board meetings. I voted as a constituent of San Bruno for most of you, some of you. I might be changing that very soon. So that you are my representative here. So that I don't have to come every week or every month to the meeting. I have children to raise and I'm trying to do a job too. Okay? That is your job. You are my representatives. Is it not? Isn't it? Thank you. I want to address the issue that the notice went out pretty much 72 hours before tonight's meeting in terms of time for us to prepare for this. I work for a major company, and even the president of our company doesn't do that to his workers.
You know, we have to, again, work with courtesy. You keep saying the word courtesy, I'm going to use it back. This is not being courteous. We are not teaching our kids. I feel like you're teaching them to blindside people, that's the way to get things done. Underhanded is another really hot word for me this week. I hope that you guys, again, you 5, I don't know who you are, sir. You're the one that writes down stuff. I understand that.
He's one of the good guys.
I hope so. We are the constituents of San Bruno. We are the ones who have put you in place. We want you to do your job. We want you to question him as much as possible and make sure he is doing his job. Your job is to make sure that he's doing his job, and if not, then maybe, you know, it's time to look around. My next concern, why would you guys do this a week before START testing is starting? How are we going to get out of PI by putting another stressor on our children? Why? Think about it. Ridiculous. Okay? I was trying to find on the internet, again, because we are a technology school, and I'm sure a lot of you all have Facebook. Lord knows everybody else does. What were your promises to our district when you took office? And are you holding up to those promises now? Are you really finding and looking for every resource possible to keep our schools open? I don't think so right now. I'm very disappointed. I've talked to many of you in person. I feel like I've been very respectful. I expect the same. I don't want to be blindsided. My children want the best education that I can give to them, and that is why we chose to live in San Bruno. Another thing is that I have friends from every school. We meet at softball games, we meet at baseball games, we meet at soccer games, we meet at all kinds of lovely things that make San Bruno a family town. That is why we decided to live here. That is why I love that there are generation after generation after generation of families who have lived in San Bruno. What you will do by closing schools is it's like turning a light on cockroaches. Everybody's going to scatter. The schools are going to empty even more, and you're just self-prophesizing a disaster. You need to look harder. Like that woman said, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. That was so awesome what you said. You have smart people right here in our community. Let us know. You know, maybe you guys should have a Facebook page where you can ask for our recommendations. You'd be surprised at how resourceful something like that can be. Again, please remember that we are the people who voted you in, so we're kind of your boss. Not him. He works for you, right? Yeah. He is a suggester. He is not the end all. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Moffett-Sway, and I have 2 kids here at Crestmore. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I can't hear you because of the noise in the background.
Okay, sorry. I have 2 kids here currently at Crestmore and another on the way in another year or so. We are transferred from the John Muir district, or John Muir boundaries. The reason why we are transferred here is John Muir is a fantastic school, but we wanted a small school. We wanted a smaller school where our children would be known. And our kids are known here. Everybody knows our children. If Crestmore is closed, we will be forced to make the decision to send our 3 children out of the San Bruno School District. I know we're not the only ones. And that's going to happen for a lot of people. The other point that I wanted to make was years ago in Burlingame, because the enrollment numbers were down and budgets were tight, they closed a little school called Hoover. Since then now, the schools are booming. They have no room for any more students. They are to their boiling point of being too full. They're trying to reopen Hoover. They had to buy the property back from the Buddhist monasteries, which I'm sure that they paid a lot more than they sold it for. And now they don't know if they're going to have the funds to renovate the property to be able to open it again in another couple of years. I would hate to see that happen here in San Bruno as well. If these schools are closed, it takes a huge effort to reopen them. And it's devastating to the entire district. Please think ahead. There may have been a lull in births, but it's going back up. Enrollment will rise, and where are you going to be if that happens? Thank you.
Good evening, board members. Most of you know me. My name is... Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Trish Estelita. As you know, most of you guys do know me. I am a mother of 4 girls, and all 4 of them attended Crestmore. However, they did not start at Crestmore. They started at St. Robert's. But I was so impressed with the academics at Crestmore that I switched school. I had to wait 2 years to get my kids in at Crestmore. My husband and I were extremely happy with Crestmore. And what is great about San Bruno Park School District is the neighborhood schools. And that's why I sent my kids here, because it was a small school. And if Crestmore is closed, I don't know how you expect these children to walk to either Rollingwood or Portola. It's not possible. And there is a lot of children that do walk here. And that, like I said, San Bruno Park School District is so great because the schools are small, and that's what the parents want. And as for the split classes, my kids did very well in split classes. So I think it would be a shame if you did close any school. And unfortunately, I think if you do decide to close a school tonight, how many kids do you think will be at school tomorrow from Crestmore or El Cristo? How many do you think will actually send their kids to school? Thank you. Good night.
Good morning, good evening. That was one of the people that I respect the most in the community. Just so you know, Trish Estelita, her kids are already out of the
1 second, please.
School district.
We can't hear up here, even with the microphone, with all the murmur in the background. Please.
I always take whatever Trish says really seriously, because she has a lot of experience and she cares more than anybody else I know. In the school, her kids are out of the school district completely, out of Parkside too, and yet she is still wearing many hats, and she's been doing it for years and years. So thank you, Trish. First, I just want to start with my daughter, who cares a lot about the school. She's no longer here. She's at Parkside, and she wanted to be here. She's the 7th grader there, and she just wanted to send a message because she is sick at home. And so she decided to write a message, and so she decided to just fold an origami. And I just want to ask you to read this. It's like one for each of you. It's the same thing. At first I was going to have her hold it for the little kid over here, and then she thought, well, I'll just do it for the board members. Because she wants to send a message. And could you read the message?
Please don't close Crestmore School.
That's simply what she wants to say. Yeah, I just want you to know that I am actually for all the school. It might say for Crestmore School, but I'm now at Parkside. My kids are both there. And I'm all for all the schools and the community. I'm actually the lady who leads the tours at Parkside, because I'm really, want people to get excited about our school and our community. There's nothing that is more important to me than education. besides food and shelter, And when I'm there, I'm just so excited to see the other parents from the other schools. And it got to the point where I've been at Parkside for 4 or 5 years, and I want to meet them even before they come to Parkside, so that everybody will come with the right attitude. And why provide low service for them, like giving them information on the school. Having said that, I want to say that when you have a high-performing school like Crestmore, it's good for everyone, for the entire community. And you have like a gifted child or a high-performing child, it's good because then you don't have to worry about that child, and you can worry about the other ones. And the other thing is, the other schools, they're all great. The people at San Bruno are very hardworking, really good work ethic, and they have a lot of heart. And thank you. If their test scores aren't high, there are lots of factors, really lots of factors. But still, when you have a good school, that's a really good asset. And when you were considering closing the schools, you didn't expect all these response. So I'm asking you to reconsider it. Now, some of the reasons that you shouldn't close Crestmore is, as Trish said, I think that you say that Crestmore, the walkability rating is low or something. There are kids who walk here, even though Crestmore is up on the hill. It's actually a plateau up here. It's a big walking area. And when you have kids go to Rollingwood or John Muir, I guarantee you there will be kids who will be walking over there. And I go on Skyline every day, and it's 50 miles per hour. There's no sidewalk. I'd hate for even a single kid to walk there. And I'd hate to think about what would happen if there's an accident. And then we'd have a big problem. The other thing is closing Crestmore would leave a void for school like Highland to expand, or even a charter school, and that would really weaken our entire school, the public school system. The other thing is the neighbors really like Crestmore. The Crestmore is a school that actually attracts a lot of free services that our district doesn't have to pay for. There's a lot of parent volunteer, and about the PTA racking up a lot of money. But also, for example, my neighbor who's at the corner of the school, he does for the last 10 years has been doing all these free landscaping in front of the school. Now that's worth what, about $50,000-$70,000 a year. He brings truckloads of stuff and plant, and he does it over on the weekend and after school, so nobody sees it. But that's why our school looks so nice, and the district doesn't have to pay for it in front. But that's just an example that it's just so much goodwill that we would lose. And I would like to now just switch gear and just talk about solution. I am actually a peacemaker. I'm always telling people, the school board member, they actually work hard. They're volunteers. They work late. Some of them have little kids. Some of them have jobs, and they really spend a lot of time. Because I've been like Trish, I've been around for a long time. Unfortunately, it gives away my age, but the school board actually work really hard, and they used to have a little bit of benefit, and that's taken away a long time ago because of how cash-strapped we are. But still, as a community, in dire time, we more than ever have to pull together as a family and find solutions.
Terry.
And how about that all of us, this energy, all these talents and all that, pull together and pledge that we would help the school board with finding solutions, and specifically work on a parcel tax. The Measure O did not pass. Unfortunately, we lost $50 million. How about, we get out there and we all pull together and do that, or get 5% of the $70 million. That would be $3.5 million right there. But how about like a parcel tax and other big solutions that we could help the school board to come up with? Thank you.
Board members directly. We're going to actually say thank you to all our teachers and principals that are here, and also say thank you to all the volunteers that volunteer in our classrooms.
So we would like to start with the Rollingwood teachers. If you could please stand up. These people are not teachers. These are leaders. They teach the students how to handle a problem, how to help other students, and how to make sure their scholastic success is going to start by their help. Your turn.
If you were a present or former teacher from Crestmore or principal, can you please stand up? Miss Jacoby, that's you. Miss Stacknick, you were my kindergarten teacher at Allen. Now you are the 4th grade teacher here at Crestmore. Mrs. Byrne, you taught my little brother last year, and you let me help out in your classroom. Miss Sheridan, you were our principal. Now we have a new principal, but we will not forget the lessons you taught us. Who else is there? Mr. Haven, I know you are here, but we thank you for the lessons you are teaching us. And Miss Jacoby, you didn't stand up, but you. Sorry. Oh. But. You were my 4th grade teacher after I transferred here to Crestmore, and you made things a whole lot easier for me. We also thank the volunteers in our classroom, too.
Actually, Miss Chaucer is now my teacher in 6th grade. So, we would like to thank you because we both had your teaching, and you helped us through problems, issues, and even mathematics skills that we have had problems with. And last but not least, I forgot, but Mrs. Whitmore, our principal. She keeps our teachers in straight line, and she makes sure all of our students have a great time with all the activities we have.
We also thank the teachers and volunteers and principals from all the other schools in our district. We may not know you personally, but we know that you are great people. Thank you.
I only have really 3 things to say. The first thing I have to say is I've been sitting over there for a while, and all I've really been understanding is that you guys think that split classes are having a negative effect on learning. Well, in 4th grade, I was in Miss Fish's class. It was a 4-5 split, and the next year I had Miss Wee for 5th grade. For all 3 trimesters, I got straight A's. Secondly, I just want to agree with everything everybody said so far. And thirdly, on mornings when my mom or my dad is trying to help my little sister get ready and they're running behind and I'm already done with everything, I walk to school. It's literally just down the road, through the park, and I'm there. And sometimes I even walk my little sister home if my dad can't make it to pick us up in time. And next year I'm going to be going to Parkside, and if she can't go to El Crystal after that, it's going to be a lot harder to go get her and then walk all the way back.
My name is Tiffany Guerin, and I'm the parent of a 3rd grader here at Crestmore. Lady and gentlemen of the board, I believe that tonight you've been presented with an amazing opportunity. The large number of people who fill this room and those who are watching at home who could not be here tonight are offering up our assistance to keep the San Bruno Park School District wholly intact. You've got an enormous, creative, and energetic think tank in our community. And by uniting both our financial and creative resources, this community can overcome the San Bruno Park School District's financial obstacles. We have been told that school closure is a last option. Let us help you create and implement a few more options to consider, because as you said, it's not too late. and I apologize for any redundancies in what I have to say. A parcel tax, seek out and create business partnerships, aid in the development, promotion, and growth of the San Bruno Education Foundation so that it can effectively create community outreach, awareness, and assistance with the financial needs of the district. Create magnet schools, as grant funding could be used to support these programs. Develop a plan to improve and maintain relations with city officials and community members. Perhaps an agreement could be made with the city and/or its unions to take over maintenance expenses and provide free or reduced sewer, water, and trash collection. Offer the maintenance of school grounds, etc., as community service options for community service credits, merit badges, whatever. Market and fill all potential rental spaces, classrooms and greens included. Move the district office personnel onto a school campus and rent out that facility. Develop and maintain a 5-year strategy to raise money from business, charitable, and residential communities. Create transparent pay-based criteria, contingency plans, and conditions for success that coincide with clearly defined achievement goals. I contend that no one is more committed to nor fights harder for anything in this world than parents do for their children. Had the community at large really known and really understood the financial issues that San Bruno Park School District is or may be facing, we would have rallied together and have answered any call for assistance that was put forth long ago. You have our attention. What will you do with it? Do we have yours?
I'm Joe Lynch. I am from the San Bruno School District because I am part of Crestmore, and we are all partners in this. First of all, I'd like to thank all the parents from all the schools for being here. The neighbors and the teachers also. Thank you for your support. There have been a lot of rumors swirling around over the past few weeks. None of them can be proven at this point. I'm not here tonight to talk about rumors. I'm here to talk about the truth, or lack of it, in the school closure issue that is to be voted on tonight. Dr. Hutt, there have been questions about the money you make. I do not have those questions. I have seen some figures on your pay, and to deal with the headaches you have had and are going to have after tonight, I would not want your job at $160,000 to $190,000, somewhere in that range. That is not a lot of money for somebody in your position, though. I do want to make that clear. The school board, I appreciate the work you do. You are in need of a raise since you don't get paid at all, and have been and are going to deal with the same headaches as Dr. Hutt. The health insurance some receive may come in handy after the stress of the last few months and months ahead. You might want to rethink that re-election campaign or ask for a buyout. Fact number one, this meeting tonight was called in the last minutes of last week's school board meeting, which Crestmore parents were told they did not need to come to. Thank goodness we did, or you all might be alone, and who would keep you company tonight? Fact two, on Friday, April 20th, 2012, at 5 p.m., Dr. Hutt put out the agenda for tonight's meeting, recommending the closure of not just Crestmore, but now El Cristal, who were not even in the DDAC committee's top 3 schools to close. This gave El Cristal a whole 5 days to get organized. The choice looked a little bit more like pin the tail on the donkey, which may happen again next year with schools. Fact 3, the school district is in a deficit. And to paraphrase Dr. Hutt, we get that. Fact 4, The parents are partners with the school district, but there was never any meetings called to address just the issue of how to help the school district. And I do realize that public schools cannot ask for funds, but PTAs and PTOs can have voluntary fundraisers and make contributions toward the school district, specifically towards services or salaries district-wide that would help a school district in a budget crisis and unite a school district. Fact number 5, a parcel tax to be voted on in November of this year coming up cannot be helped by a school closure decision the month before in October. Based on Dr. Hutt's ultimatum that if enrollment falls below 30 students district-wide at any school, a school will be closed. Enrollment will not meet that closure goal by the move of 6th grade students to Parkside Junior High. Why are you putting off the decision now when we already know that we can't meet those absurd numbers? Also, let's stop looking for handouts from PG&E and the people of San Bruno until we can show them we can help ourselves in some small way. Number 6, the school board are trustees and in charge of the San Bruno School District. The people of San Bruno, through election, have decided that you are qualified without input to make proper decisions. Dr. Hutt, while having very good credentials, is but an employee of the San Bruno School District at the whim of the school board, you, ladies and gentlemen. It is not the other way around. Dr. Hutt does not run the board. I am sure that there were people at Enron and Fannie Mae that had very good credentials, but look where that got their board, by listening to people with good credentials. We the parents of the San Bruno School District are looking to the board, not Dr. Hutt, to make the right decisions. And I am putting my trust in all of you. A quote from today's editorial in the San Mateo Daily Journal to wrap this up. Someone in a leadership position needs to step up and change the conversation into one that is more productive, more specific, and better for the community as a whole. The people of San Bruno deserve better. This is from a paper that serves all of San Mateo County. Thank you very much.
My name is Raul Gomez. I am a native San Bruno, and I know it's kind of rare around here, but I've actually lived here all of my life. Grew up on Linden Avenue, went to El Crystal, walked back and forth to school, and enjoyed that experience very much. My children go to El Crystal, our second generation of that school, and they are very proud to be to attend El Crystal School. My daughter, who is actually graduating this year, has been on the honor roll for the last 2 years. She is excelling very well in this school, and again, I just cannot understand how El Crystal could be up for closure. I think as a board, your guys' responsibility is to make sure that you guys are providing proper and adequate education for all of the kids of San Bruno, and I don't see that happening. I see that we have a community here that is very strong, has lots of really good ideas to really pull this together without school closure, because school closure is not an option for San Bruno. So I really challenge you guys to really come up with some ideas and thoughts that would really be productive for San Bruno, the community that I love and live in, so that, again, we are a community not broken, but together. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Lorenzo Bullock, and I go to El Crystal School. I got 3 reasons why I don't want this school to close. The first reason is because I made a lot of new friends when I came to this school, and I don't want to lose them all. The second reason is it's going to be hard to find all the new friends at other schools that I might go to. And the third reason is I don't want this school to close.
Good evening, Dr. Hutt, Board of Supervisors. School Board.
Thank you.
My name is Gary Otake. I'm a parent of 3 boys at El Crestal School. And I've been following this topic in the news. I remember several years ago when this first came up, I actually did attend some of the board meetings. But as you can imagine, I haven't been to all of them ever since. You know, trying to feed the kids, get them to do their homework, take showers. You know, as parents, we're busy. But hearing about this, I was angry. And over the whole weekend, I've lost sleep. I thought about the things I would point my fingers and like give you peace of my mind. But I think hearing everybody else's discussion, and at this point, I'm inspired by the energy and the opportunity that we have here as a community. And I think what we're looking for from you is leadership, creativity, and some courage to make the right decision. Our back isn't against the wall this very moment. I spent all night the other night looking on the web. I read the report, and for the life of me, I still don't even understand how much money shutting 2 schools down will do. It sounds to me it's like about $400,000. Less. You know what? That's a lot of money, but it's not that much money. Seriously, we can figure out how to come up with that kind of money as a community. It doesn't make any sense that this is the only solution. And as far as the topic that I followed, this is the only thing that's been proposed. So I know that maybe the other meetings that you've had, nobody was here, but tonight you have the opportunity to challenge us, to come up with some sort of creative solutions that shows vision. You know, as a community, we are used to working and talking together. We have the opportunity to do something right. So don't break something that works. And I beseech you to say no, vote no tonight, and use this energy that we have tonight. Don't waste it. And let's keep the conversation going. Thank you.
Joan Skinner, proud El Cristal alumni parent, and El Cristal. And just a week ago, I was speaking because of the comrades at Crestmore people, and Rollingwood people, yes. And there's been an analogy that's kicked around my household, and I didn't want to go there, but I'm going to do it. When my son was in about the 6th grade at El Cristal, there was a reading list, and on the reading list was a book. And no, it's not the vampire books, okay? If you're trying to make that analogy, that's not it. And it seemed like it was a sort of a science fiction book, and we got a hold of the book and ended up reading all 3 of the books. And the book is called The Hunger Games. Anybody seen The Hunger Games? Okay. And you may be familiar with the plot, that there is sort of an evil government, and it requires the districts, kind of analogous to our separate schools, to pick contestants. That's sort of analogous to the 8 people that were on the DDAC committee, to fight to the death. And this is done not with adults, this is done with children. This is done with children from age 12 to age 18. And each district is expected to sacrifice their children to maintain societal order. Does it sound familiar? A little bit, yeah. And the people who do this live in a capital. They have a lot of money. The reason that I bring up the money portion is that this is being done, we are told, because of money. And I want everyone who was at the meeting last week at Rollingwood to understand that after the bulk of us left, there was discussion on the table about a $5.4 million fund that the district has, and $3 million of that was put into a retirement fund, a fund for post-employment benefits. And $2.4 million of that money was kept was withheld because it was thought by the financial officer that the district might need that money. So when we're being told there's no money, it's sort of the vantage point of, are you in District 12, are you in District 11? Are you a member of the Capitol? Are you President Snow, right? So it depends on whose perspective it is. There is money in the district available, and it's a question of which fund is it in, which pocket is it in. Can we raise money? Yes, I believe we can raise the amount of money being discussed. But the most important thing is that in a civilized society, the whole point of Suzanne Collins writing these books, she said, was to teach children about war, was to teach children about violence, and to teach people to not be violent. So the way that this has been set up as a contest between the different schools with the committee and the different delegates, personally, my own feeling is I am saddened that the committee did not just say no. I think that the thing to do was to be brave, and despite instructions, despite what the game makers wanted you to do, I think the best thing would have been just say no. Say, no, we're not going to make this choice. However, I have to say that the recent complete blindside of El Crystal late Friday afternoon by Dr. Hutt's recommendation, which bears no relationship to the work of the committee, by the way, is appalling. And again, this is not what you do. You don't fight using kids. You don't fight using schools. You do things in a well-reasoned way. And I would appreciate the board, please think very hard, because in all societies everywhere, the most heinous crime is any crime that hurts a child. Be sure that you don't hurt our kids. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Mr. Sanchez, Dr. Sanchez.
There's a clarification that I want to make in terms of that money that was mentioned, because I think there's a lot of misinformation. This was money that was part of this Carl Sandburg site, money that we went to Sacramento, gave us another tool to get access to pay off certain obligations. The obligation this district has is to pay for the retirement benefits, medical benefits to our teachers who put in all their hard work and service. This would basically is to provide a fund. We put it in an irrevocable trust so that we would save $250,000 every year that would not have to be paid. It would be generated by the interest, and that would last 20, 30 years based on the liability that we have as a district that we had to pay, and that's why we put that money aside. We wanted to put the $5.2 million, but because of cash flow problems, we had to have that $200.4 million there, because we only get 1% interest from the county on our savings, or the monies. And it's also restricted, because we can only have money for general fund as well as for construction. But this money, we specifically went to the state, and they agreed with what we were doing. We're one of the few districts, there's only 24 in the whole state, that is trying to fund this obligation. And so that's why we use that money to provide discretionary money by saving $250 million we could use for general purposes. So that's the rationale for it. That's what also helped us provide money for the solar panels to decrease the amount of obligation to that. That's another $250,000. So we've invested money because that money can only be used for capital. And so you have to realize monies that are allocated in schools are restricted. Those are restricted for special education, those for capital improvement buildings, and those for general fund. So it becomes very important that the complexity of the school budget is much different than your household budget and the restrictions you have. And so it becomes important to understand this, because we have budget sessions to look at this, and we have everyone looking at the different facets and how we can use this money and leverages, because every dollar spent, this is what we have to get the biggest bang in the buck for our educational enterprise here in San Bruno. So that's something important to realize. There's a history behind all this. And if you have any questions, we as a board be more than happy to answer any of these budgetary questions. When you look through the budget, it's very complex, and we look at interims twice a year. Another thing you have to realize about the budget, we have our own external audit every year. Then this budget goes to the county. Then it goes to the state. In my way of thinking, there's no way you can miss a dime in a school board, in a school district budget. It is so tightly supervised, it makes the banking industry look like free play. Okay, because it,
Mr. Chuck, you're out of order as it were. Well, a lot of good it does. Would you please get in line and please, Mr. Zelnick, please stand in line and wait your turn.
This one, I'll answer it. Yeah, it was a waiver. We looked at everything. It was a waiver that the state was giving not to only us. Millbrae also got a waiver, and that was only for $12 million because we used the rest of the money to build other things like Parkside, and so this money has been well spent. As you can see, yes, we have. Yes, we have.
Stop arguing. Ask him, Mr. Capote.
Thank you. I don't want to break that up. I know it was going.
I know.
He can hear you, Chuck. He can hear you. There's a line back there. All right. My name is Joe Capote. I am a parent here in the San Bruno Park School District. I have 2 kids in El Crystal. This is my daughter, Kira, and she's up here to give me moral support. Do you guys recognize what this is? It's a binder, I know that. But this was given to me at the time of the Measure O kickoff to all the representatives of the PTA. And inside this binder, it has all kinds of interesting information about how we as PTA members could help the district find a way to pass Measure O. There's a district map in here, there's a visitor sign-up sheet, there's all kinds of interesting data about voters and mailing lists and things of that nature. And in front here, which is my favorite, there is a district draft conceptual plan of all the potential things that Measure O is going to do for El Crystal. There's covered walkways, there's irrigation with the science garden, all kinds of, in fact, $900,000 worth of work that was presented to El Crystal at the time that Measure O was being presented. Today we're talking about school closure. Obviously this never intended to be done. I keep this binder as a reminder. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And you also should know that I still persevered on to help you find Measure O. I called it your phone bank. I was down at the district and I signed in favor of Measure O on the district ballot. Given this, do you think that I will ever do something like that again? I will not. Thank you. Members of the San Bruno Park School District, the buck stops with you. You are the elected officials here. And I know that's been said before. Mr. Barrow said it. A couple other people have said this. It stops with you. You have been chosen to represent the people. I should not have to remind you that you are elected by the people and for the people, not to blindly and obediently cater to the whims and the desires of the superintendent. Let me say that in no uncertain terms, I believe that we're ready for new leadership. And until, thank you very much, thank you. And until we see it, I will keep this as a reminder of what the district has done to my faith in it over the course of the past 6 months. Here, finish up for me. Thank you.
I just want to say that if you close down my school, there won't be, you're just basically tearing friendship apart, and all of the teachers have been really nice to me.
All right.
Okay, my name is Alexia Villarreal. I spoke earlier. For you guys who don't know or who don't go to El Crystal, there's a day that's called Read All Day. And in 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade, Dr. Hutt read to us. Mr. Johnson, he told us that was his buddy. And so now, after just finding out he's recommending that my school's going to be closed, I'm wondering, why did Mr. Johnson call him his buddy? reading to me in first, second, and third grade, and the rest of the students at El Crystal, Mr. Johnson calling you his buddy, I have to think about it, say, were you ever really his buddy? Was this always in your mind to recommend El Crystal's closure? You guys are supposed to be helping our education. And by closing down the school, that's not helping at all. And I am the eldest of 6 kids. 4 siblings, 4 brothers, 1 sister. All who are supposed to attend El Crystal. 1 in kindergarten, this one, Victor, in first, 1 in preschool, and 1 was just born February 16th. And when I found out this information, I was thinking to myself, they're not going to have all the memories that I was able to have. And if you guys close down the school, I will never be able to forgive you. And here is my first grade brother going to speak to you guys.
My name is Victor Villarreal, and I'm in first grade.
He told me that he wanted to say earlier before we came here that he had the best kindergarten teacher, Miss Morris. The best first grade teacher he could ever think of, Miss Pence. He has gotten 100% on most of his tests because of them. And he has made great friendships, and with you guys closing our school, he's just going to be tore away from them. And you guys should think about that before going to sleep at night. Let's go.
Hi, I spoke earlier. My name is Miranda Perez again. And I would just like to say, Alexia, that was pretty cool what you said. So, for you being Mr. Johnson's buddy all of a sudden, and then turning your back on El Crystal, that's just a very bad thing to do. So, that's just unthinkable. So, and what about our futures in El Crystal? All of these teachers that I had in the past have helped me so much to be in this good environment and to have a bigger family than I already have in this school, El Crystal. So by you closing down the school, it breaks my heart that I will never see any of these wonderful teachers again. And it just is not okay with me at all. And I don't like it at all. So, I live in the heart of the city, San Bruno. And I would just like to say, if I live in the heart and I have a heart, other humans should have a heart too. So, just saying, you should have a heart.
I'm Heidi Beck, and my boys were educated in the San Bruno schools. Yeah, I get emotional when I hear these kids. It's great. So I've got to try to take a moment here. I'm really glad so many parents are in attendance tonight, because I know, it is really hard to get away on a school night. We're busy. We work. We have kids. We have, spouses or significant others. We sometimes have elderly parents to care for. But you know what? We do need more people to come to school board meetings because, we trust these people. We elected them. But, like Reagan, I think it was Reagan that said, trust but verify. And that's why we need people coming here. We need people to keep an eye on these, on our elected officials, make sure they're, giving us the straight scoop. I don't think, I think rarely does anybody deliberately want to lie to us, but, sometimes things happen. I don't know, but, you gotta trust but verify. You gotta come. And I think the other advantage of actually getting people here is, maybe you don't need this many people to come to every meeting, but you do need to try to get a few people from your school, from your PTA, to try to get a couple people to come to every meeting, just because then there's somebody there who actually heard it and somebody who was actually there can tell their friends what was going on, and you don't have to rely on rumors and stuff. So I do think it's really helpful, and I do, hope in the future that more of you will come to school board meetings, as painful as they often are. But I really hope, I really think it's important for the community to do that. So I do want to talk more about the issue of trust, because I felt when I saw that recommendation of Dr. Hutz on Friday evening that I was completely blindsided by the whole change in narrative, because suddenly it was suddenly enrollment, it was suddenly split classes, it was suddenly professional isolation. So I'm going to go back to that in just a minute, but one point I'd like to highlight is El Cristal's leadership in the use of technology. It's the most wired school in the district and houses a technology demonstration center that is a resource beyond the district. Educators come from the county and beyond, and I think they've even had international visitors at that demonstration center. So since it's a small school, it's an ideal place to pilot and test programs before they're scaled up and rolled out district-wide. In other words, this is a forward-looking program that is a benefit to the whole district. So why in the world would the superintendent recommend axing such a program, and how could the board vote to support that recommendation? So to me now it appears perfectly clear that the DDAC was used by the district so that the board and superintendent could say they took community input into account. Dr. Hutt's recommendation is not about the same things that the DDAC was asked to look at. And so I think that's a slap in the face and disrespect for the members of the DDAC who took their charge seriously and considered multiple criteria as they were directed. You can take issue with the criteria. I don't think they were perfect, for sure. But the DDAC worked in good faith. And I'm sorry, but Dr. Hutt, you did not act in good faith with your recommendation. That 11th hour change in the narrative is my, that's to me is a sign that was not in good faith. And so board members, please say no to Dr. Hutt's recommendation. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elena Sanchez. I am a former student of Crestmore. I love this school. The school is amazing. I remember every music lesson I had in this cafeteria with Miss Borghese. I remember when my family shield was on the wall, the Sanchez family. And the school is full of memories. But the memories made here, I look at them and then I look at all these children who have spoken. I was watching it at home and I see how happy they are here. And I feel like everyone is focusing on the negative impacts of closing down the schools. I'm not saying they should close down the schools, but what else could you look at it in a more optimistic viewpoint, just instead of pessimistic? Think that now, instead of having individual little communities, instead of having just an El Cristal community and a Crestmore community, that maybe this will bring everyone together more as a whole, as one district. And it won't keep everyone so divided, because look at what you can do together. You all came down here to defend your schools. So imagine if you could all come down and then maybe get more money, and then we wouldn't have these issues. We would have everyone working together instead of everyone yelling at the gamekeepers who are being ruthless. But these aren't gamekeepers. They are human beings, and they're all working hard to reflect what you want. After all, you did elect them. You wanted them to be here to represent you. So do not treat them with disrespect. It is not fair, because I was watching this and I was kind of horrified when I saw people even yelling, shouting, and not even waiting to talk like they are now. Because when you have an argument, if you are driven by emotion and you let your emotions fuel you, you are not going to be able to get your point across. You have to be logical. You have to be calm. You have to be able to talk it out. And this school, El Cristal, I'm sure my best friend is from El Cristal, and it was a wonderful experience being here. But when I went to Parkside, it was another wonderful experience. So who's saying that children's experiences have to be just at the first school they're at? Maybe if they go to another school, they'll have another great experience. And I loved all my teachers. I could name all of them. I remember every day with them how amazing they all were. They were outstanding teachers. And I bet the ones at El Crystal are just as outstanding. The ones at every school are extremely amazing teachers. Maybe they'll get an even better job opportunity. But they're teachers, so we have to think about that. And yes, I think that we would be better together as a whole if we actually came together and we had respect for everyone in the community. Because even now, I hear people saying, "Oh my God," when I'm speaking, because I'm the different person. I'm not going with the crowd. So I'm sorry that I'm like that, but I want to say that because every voice needs to be heard. And thank you.
Hi, my name's Hannah, and
she's 5. She's supposed to start Crestmore in August, and we live like 3 blocks from here, and it would really affect us greatly if we closed our school. So, also, I was wondering if you're going to make a decision tonight, because it is 9 o'clock at night, and this little 5-year-old has to go to bed. Is it going to be a decision tonight, or?
I would hope so, but we need to get through all of this.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Let me ask you this: would you rather us come to a vote now? Then we can do that. That's not a problem.
Or
okay?
I can tell you what I think.
Well, I'll let you have an opportunity. Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, I just want to make some clarifications because I was the recording secretary for the DDAC, and there's been some discrepancies with things that are going on. First of all, Mr. Henderson, at our last meeting, you specifically stated, and I will quote, that there will be 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 public hearings for the community to come and address their concerns. You said 3. None have happened. What happened was being blindsided by the schools, being taken and given 0 chance in order to come together. There was none. You stated that. 3.
Yes, I did.
And nothing has happened. What you have is this emergency meeting within 72 hours that did not even give anybody a chance to respond to that. So you stated that, and it didn't come through. And you guys are talking about trust. Well, when you state something that you're going to do it, you do it. Because I know when I tell my children I'm going to do something, I do it. And if I can't do it, then I don't tell them I'm going to do it. So you lie to the community by stating that. The other thing I want to talk about is the Total School Solutions report and how that report was put together. Because I want to say this right here and now. When we were talking about that report, the schools that were in that report were given to Total School Solutions by Dr. Hutt as to which schools to close. They, as an organization and as a company, did not suggest those schools. He did. And when they came back to the committee and said that there was no way to get rid of combination classes without closing 2 schools, they asked the committee what schools they would like. The committee was not given the chance to say what those schools were. Dr. Hutt specifically said, "I will tell you what those schools are." So when the report says, and this recommendation says, that he is recommending the Total School Solutions recommendation, that is not their recommendation. It is Dr. Hutt's recommendation, and they were the ones who followed through with it. Additionally, with that Total School Solutions report, the DDAC specifically asked that John Muir be included in that report. Dr. Fran Dunleavy offered up her school to be included. They were given, this instruction was given to Dr. Hutt with 3 weeks to have it finalized. And they came back and said in 3 weeks that they could not include John Muir. And I ask you why in 3 weeks they couldn't do that. My concern is here is that was John Muir not included since the superintendent's wife runs the after-school program there? And if so, additionally, why is it that only her after-school program is on the district website?
Can't hear you.
That to me seems unfair to the other after-school programs that are in this school. Happy Hall is a fantastic after-school program. I have continued to hear constantly from the Crestmore parents about the after-school program here, and their representation on the district website is not nearly as profound and cannot be found whatsoever. So I find that a little hard to believe that conveniently John Muir cannot be included after Dr. Dunleavy had said, yes, go ahead and include my school. That was a great gesture on her part in trying to pull a community together that was totally being ripped apart. Okay? Now I want to speak to you as a board member of the San Bruno Education Foundation, because what I found, and I have come to these board meetings, and I have, as well as my other members of this community and this foundation, have come to you on several different occasions asking you for specific dollar amounts so that we could go back to the community and raise dollars. And for a specific example, I will tell you that a current board member and a former board member have come and talked to our former CEO, as well as tried to get in touch with Dr. Hutt so that we could find out how much it would cost to raise the money to save the Parkside music teacher, when there was a possibility she was going to be laid off. Never once were we given a specific dollar amount in order to be able to raise those funds. It was always like, well, it's kind of this, it's kind of that. Well, as a foundation, how are we supposed to be able to go back and tell people, well, we need this much? Because there's never a time when you guys could say, this is the amount. And if every single penny is counted, Dr. Sanchez, then there should be a specific amount that should be given to us to be able to raise these monies. Additionally, I will say this. The San Bruno Education Foundation is supposed to have a board liaison who is supposed to come to our board meetings. The only board member from you that have ever showed up to any of our board members has been Ms. Blanco, who's come, even though she's not the liaison at times, to talk to us about specific issues that needed to be addressed. The only other board member who's ever tried to stretch a handout to us was when our board chair, Pat Flynn, asked Mr. Prescott to help us with our first Ask packet, which, by the way, took 2 years for us to be able to actually get a letter to go out at the beginning of the year asking our parents for money to fund things like PE, like technology, like music in all our schools. We have fought an uphill battle with this board constantly, yet all of us still seem to come together and try every month to find a way to help you. But yet we get nothing but a closed door constantly from what you guys are saying. Now here's this community who wants information and wants help. And we have a foundation that has been trying to do it, but we cannot do it by ourselves. So you need to start opening the ledger, because if every dime is counted, we should be able to say, well, this is how much it's going to cost to get PE. And from the DDAC, the most important thing that came out of that meeting was when we asked everybody to go back and talk to their PTAs, and what do those PTAs fund? And to find out that every PTA is funding K through 3 PE education, well, hello, are we actually funding it correctly? Maybe Crestmore is paying more than they should be. Maybe El Crystal is paying more. Maybe Rollingwood is paying more than they should be, because we're not joining together as a single community, as a single force. And that is the only thing that was good that came out of that committee. And as part of that committee, we wrote about how horrible the process was and the criteria was and everything. We didn't have a choice. Contrary to what was said earlier, we as a community had no choice. We had to pick a representative, because if we didn't, it was one for all. It was you were on your own. And I'm sorry, I did it. I went through that process because I was not going to let my school do it. And I am sure that every other school was not going to let their school be the one that was going to get demolished because they didn't have a representative. So we didn't have a choice. We had to come together. And somehow we all came together and we found a way to work together and to solve and to come up with some sort of solution that wasn't ideal, but it was a solution that we had to work with the bad parameters that we were given. And yet that advice was completely and utterly disregarded and thrown out the window. You've scared parents from Rollingwood because they were ranked number 2 and have been coming out to meetings, only to find out that parents from El Cristo, who are ranked 5, yet concerned about closure in this school because it does affect their tax values and their house properties and everything like that, still coming out, only to be told on Friday at 5 o'clock, thanks to a courtesy call I got at my home from Dr. Hutt. However, Dr. Hutt, I would recommend you talk to your secretary because somehow she can get a hold of me in the middle of the day and you're calling me at home. That's wrong. The only reason that that agenda went out to the El Crystal community was because I dug for it on the website and sent it to Ms. Bale so that she could use her email list to get that information out to the El Crystal community. Or more than likely, they wouldn't have known until Monday morning. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Greg Defoe.
Sorry, sir.
I went to the meeting last Wednesday at Rollingwood where Rollingwood and Crestmore were both considered the schools in jeopardy. I witnessed a professional company give a report demonstrating how the districts will be drawn for any and all school closures. Those reports cost money. I think that we need to be looking at how we are spending this amount of energy to consider closing a school when you see the energy in this room. If you harness that, you could probably raise the money to enhance the schools. Also at that meeting, it was made perfectly clear in the report from the committee that was asked to look at this consideration, their bottom line, and this is as close to a quote as I can get, there is no compelling reason to close any schools. That the costs of operation would follow the students. So you will move the students into fewer schools. The majority of the costs will follow the students. Switching subjects, reputation. When you are a parent considering what you're going to do with your child's education, among the things that you are going to consider are performance. El Crystal and Crestmore are both state-recognized schools. I question the rationale in closing those schools. The other serious question as a parent you ask is stability. Am I going to put my child into a system that is just going to put them into upheaval? So, as you discuss closing schools, you are painting a picture of your school district. You're painting a picture of an unstable school district. At that meeting, now I've been in your school system for 8 years, 9 years, okay? In that time, school closure was always on the table. Somebody at the meeting last week said, my age, mind you. You don't have to guess what that age is. He said that when he was a child going to San Bruno Public Schools, school closure was constantly on the table, being discussed. This is a corrosive discussion. It paints a picture of an unstable school system. Parents who are trying to aim their child at a system that will see them through are going to steer away. So when you're talking about a short-term budget shortfall, you have to weigh the long-term consequences of keeping this discussion going nonstop. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Grace Rafi. I'm a third grader at El Crystal School. Board members, why do you want to close my school? I think my school should still be open because I think it's a waste of money that we just got our new interactive whiteboards, thinking of getting iPads, getting our new solar panels, and getting more laptops for our Danforth Center. I think it's an even bigger waste of money that we got our school rebuilt and got our new cafeteria. Could I please have Miss Trudell and Miss Hennessy please stand up? These two wonderful teachers taught me from first grade to third grade, and they're going to lose their jobs because the board members want to close my school. I think no school should be closed. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening.
hard to follow the kids when they are at the heart of this discussion tonight. Good evening, Dr. Hutt and board members. My name is Lisa Ramirez, and I've been a resident of San Bruno all my life. I attended El Cristal as a child, went to Parkside, went to Cappuccino. My daughter, Gianna, is a kindergarten in Ms. Moore's class at El Cristal. Thank you, Ms. Moore. She's able to walk to El Cristal every day, just as I did, and my brothers did. And I would like to urge you not to close Crestmore or El Cristal. I've also been a third grade teacher in the San Mateo Foster City School District for 16 years. Many of my colleagues assumed that my daughter would come to my school. And while I know Gianna would receive a good education at my school, I strongly believe that children should and need to go to their neighborhood school. And El Cristal is my neighborhood school. I never had a doubt in my mind that Gianna would go to El Cristal, and I could not be happier with her education and my decision to have her go there. El Cristal is a high-performing school with hardworking teachers, a dedicated principal, and excellent technology. El Cristal has a strong sense of community. I felt welcomed and a part of that community from the kindergarten orientation a year ago to attending events like movie night, bingo night, and volunteering in my daughter's classroom. When I walk down the hallway with my daughter, the older students confidently make eye contact with us and say hello. Some of them even know my daughter's name. Just a little kindergartner, and here are 4th, 5th, 6th grade students saying hello to her. That example of community would be hard to come by at a larger school. The wonderful Ms. Moores is creating the next generation of proud El Cristal students. It saddens me that her community of learners could be separated in the near future. As a parent and a fellow educator, I urge you to think about why we are in this profession, to educate our children. Why would you consider closing either school is incomprehensible to me. Please keep our community and neighborhood schools intact. Thank you.
Hi, Walter Skinner. I'll be brief. I have a son who went to both Crestmore and to El Cristal, and I just wanted to comment on something that was said this evening about lack of public input to this body. I've been coming to these meetings for 9 years. I haven't come to all the meetings. I've probably come to about half the meetings, and I've never been to a meeting where I was the only member of the public there. You guys have some very, very intelligent and hardworking citizens, community members who come and talk to you. Chris Kiley has a really great handle on the numbers and the budget, much better than I do. And he comes up here and he explains the budgetary situation, the proposals before you, and tells you not to vote for it, and you vote for it, 3-2. And you bring in outside consultants, you bring in PR firms, you spend money on studies, and I guarantee you I've seen $400,000 go out the door in the last 9 years on studies, consultants, and PR firms. The latest one is the Total School Solutions, which you paid $17,000 for, and you're not even taking their idea. You're taking the Friday night idea. Okay? Many members of this community come up to you and say, don't do it. Don't go there. Don't give the money to this consultant. I've seen it month after month after month. And what do? It's a 3-2 vote. You give them the money, and the money goes away. And now you don't have $400,000, and now you're closing a school. Now you're taking it out on the kids. The kids didn't have any impact on that money. You did. 3-2 votes. 3-2 votes. 9 years I've seen 3-2 votes. Not all of you. Some of you are new to this board. But over and over and over, 3-2 votes. Only 2 votes that are fiscally responsible. I've seen it over and over and over for years. Now you're $400,000 in the hole. You're taking it out on the kids. This proposal, Friday night, really low. Really low. Undemocratic, really bad PR. You don't need a PR firm. You just need to play fair. Use common sense. Don't do something... Don't do something on a Friday night and then expect everybody to have their kids out of school till 10 o'clock to wait for you to vote. And you promised us, like Michelle said, 3 meetings for public comment. So why are you doing it tonight? Why are you voting tonight when you promised us 3 meetings for public input? And you're going to vote tonight? Really? I mean, that's fair? That's democracy? If you do vote, I expect 5 votes against this. All 5. I think... I've seen a lot of squabbling on this board. I've seen a lot of process. There's a lot of disagreement on that board. This is politics, so I understand that. This may be something that can bring the community together. I would love to see a 5-0 vote on this proposal. That's what I suggest you do. Thank you.
Good evening, Chris Kiley. Dr. Hutt's report raises a couple of very serious issues. Professional isolation, split classes. Those are not little issues. Those are big issues. I remember last year when they were talking about budgeting and staffing, and they're looking at the number of split classes the different schools were going to have and things like that. The community was up in arms, and the decision they made in April to cut the staffing got changed in June so that we had the staffing, probably the tune of $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 more than they'd originally budgeted for. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up is in terms of how we've done this. When they switched last year, there was no discussion of where the money came from. Nobody turned to the parents and said, hey, look, if you want small schools, these are the trade-offs. You know, if you want small schools, we need either more money or we need more split classes or bigger classes. Those are the things we have to trade off. There was no discussion of that last year. Instead, you yelled, they patted you on the back and said, sure, we'll do what you want. And I expect actually they'll probably pat you on the back today and say the same thing. But in terms of a long-term process for addressing that stuff, the things Dr. Hutt's talking about, I remember him 2 years ago bringing those issues up to the board. And I remember when he did, I said to the board, you need to think about those things, because if you are worried about split classes, remember one thing he wanted was 2 classes at every grade level at every school. Well, and there's good reasons for wanting that. But I said to the board, if you do that, you have to close the school, because we don't have enough money to have enough teachers. So there needed to be a discussion before you started having somebody pick which school. Instead, you need a discussion up here about what trade-off do you want? How much is it going to cost? We've wasted 4 years since the last committee looking at school closure, when they could have been working on these things and talking to you and saying, what trade-off do you want? If we're going to close the school, how do we transition? If we're not going to, what trade-offs do you want? Where's the money going to come from? Instead, the whole issue of why are we closing a school, the only discussion of it to this point has been what Dr. Hutt put in his report, and the board has not even talked about yet. I mean, when we decided to redo Parkside to make it 6, 7, 8, that went first for the teachers, the curriculum council, then to long-range planning, then to a committee of the whole district. They talked about it. This, we still haven't, nobody's talked about why we're closing it until this one recommendation came out, and they still haven't talked about it.
I'm a parent in this community. I'm also a neighbor to one of these schools, and I just wanted to address really quickly unintended consequences. I know that everyone's talked about what they're passionate about, and the kids have talked about what they're passionate about. But one of the things that we haven't talked about is what will happen to these sites when they're vacant. Right now, these sites are obviously not vacant, and people are there. And everyone knows about the fire that happened in September 2010. But that same evening, there was another fire. There was a fire at El Crystal that night. And on that night, there was, and that is in the middle of, you know, the school year had just started. The school is not a vacant school at this point in time. And some person in the community thought it would be a really good idea to stick a firecracker in the fence of El Crystal. And the city and the schools have not been maintaining that hill. So the hill was overrun with large, long grass. And so that hill caught on fire that night. And so I just want you guys to think about the unintended consequences to these sites that maybe you're not considering. And I also wanted you to think a little bit about diversity. I know it's kind of a hot topic, but I just did a little quick analysis on the numbers. And if you, for example, took all the students from Crestmore and put them at one other school, say you put them all at John Muir, that would then make a school that was 60% Caucasian. And if you look at the numbers today, Allen is 61% Hispanic. And I think that would create maybe some unintended consequences that you don't expect when you have this really large discrepancy among students. So just something to think about.
Hi, my name is Terry Chavez, and I have two girls who go to Rollingwood Elementary. My husband and I moved to San Bruno a few years ago, and right before that we were trying to get my daughter into a school in San Francisco. You know how the San Francisco process is, but 7 schools, we didn't get any schools near where we lived, and then we said, well, the timing is right, let's move to San Bruno, and we were so fortunate to be able to move to Rollingwood where our daughters can walk to school. And I want everybody in San Bruno to have that opportunity, where their kids can just walk to school safely and not have to worry about crossing El Camino or Sneath or having to be bussed around. Somebody had mentioned, are they going to have buses for the kids if they have to go from school to school? No. So it's great. I mean, we're here from Rollingwood, but we support the whole community. And what I want to say is, it's really great how all the parents, PTA, teachers, we're one community. Nobody is saying we should close that school or this school or those people. I mean, we're one community, so it's really nice to hear all the voices tonight coming together as one community. And I just want to say I hope that no schools close. Every child should have the opportunity to be able to walk to school back and forth. Of course, my kids, they're young, kindergarten and second, so they don't walk by themselves. But I'm hoping as they get a little older, they can. And if we're not going to save that much financially from closing a school, if the concern is split level class, my daughter is in a split level class with Miss Gordon over there hiding. And what's funny is that when she brings home that really difficult math for 2nd grade, I say, are you sure this isn't, did Miss Gordon sneak a 3rd grade packet to you? No, she didn't, Mom. But if it comes down to more split classes or closing a school, I'm sure that the community would say, let's just have more split classes, but keep all the schools open.
Hi, I'm Scott Kurtner. As you have heard already, we in San Bruno don't pay our board members. And with the exception of a normal health care plan that they have to pay into, we pay them nothing. No salary, no bonuses. At times like this, one might say you get what you pay for. Or you can look at the other side of the coin. They aren't in this job for the money. And if they're doing it for the fame, I doubt any of them want to be the one known as the person who closed a school, much less multiple schools. In contrast, our school superintendent, Dr. Hutt, gets paid somewhere around $160, $190, as you heard before, a year. With many years of our school taxes, we've paid Dr. Hutt as one might pay the CEO of a small company. Presumably to enrich our school district's brand until San Bruno schools become synonymous with excellence. Instead, Dr. Hutt has determined it is a good business decision to close a couple of top-performing schools. This impressive lack of common sense has been occurring for over 30 years. And it is the reason why many of San Bruno's financially affluent parents have been scared away from our public schools. The parents who can afford it either move away or contribute to the strength of San Bruno's multiple private schools, with the exception of a few of us that are probably in this room. Outside of San Bruno, public school districts like Burlingame have earned the confidence of their community members to the point where they contribute to their public schools around $1 million every single year. That's $1 million in donations on top of the taxes they pay. The San Bruno socioeconomic demographic isn't that much different from that of its neighbors. $1 million translates into 2,000 families, raising an average of $500 a year, or $42 a month. The only thing that we're missing is a collaborative and charismatic leadership inspiring us with a compelling vision. As the top paid professional in our district, one might expect Dr. Hutt to work tirelessly at creating out-of-the-box solutions to strengthen San Bruno and build impenetrable bonds with his school district, its employees, its city, potential donors, its taxpayers, its students, and alumni. I only know that at least one family would offer a vote of no confidence for that CEO. Esteemed board members, please don't further tarnish the San Bruno image. Instead, use this momentum to build a glimmering educational fortress that the entire world is envious of. Thank you.
I'd like to respond to Michelle. Yes, I did promise that we would have 3 meetings that we would discuss the issue. And we started that last week at Rollingwood. It was another meeting like tonight. Since then, we scheduled this meeting tonight. And all I have gotten is email and phone calls from, other than the wonderful petition you guys did, and I really think you guys did an excellent job on that. I'd like to talk to the teacher that started that. Okay.
Miss Bale.
Huh?
Miss Bale.
Exactly. Well, I got to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You're to be applauded for the job that you've done on that petition and everything else. And I say that for myself. But by the same token, this is the second of 3 meetings. But I've heard more people tell me that they want this thing to come to a conclusion.
Yeah. Take the ball.
Hold on.
I'm glad that petition was named, but I would like the correct person to get credit for it.
Who's that?
I'm Shauna Gale, and I did not start that petition, so whoever did start that one petition, I would like to be credit.
Without further ado, I would make a motion that we deny the report given by Dr. Hutt and that we do not close the school.
I'll second that.
The motion has been made and seconded by Mr. Prescott. Do we want to have more discussion? I'm sorry?
How long do we have to vote on this? Next year? The year after?
Yeah, good question.
Are you going to allow the community to spend some time, some thought, some research to put creative, crafty, intelligent ideas together to lift up and build a foundation for the school board so we don't have to come back here year after year after year?
Through the chair,
Ms. Blanco?
I'd like to say something before we go to vote.
I'm sorry?
I'd like to say something.
She wants to discuss.
I couldn't hear it.
She wants a discussion.
Oh, okay. That's fine. We're on discussion.
So I would like to say that from what I've heard tonight, all I've heard is this, that we are a family. San Bruno's a family. I already knew this. I grew up in this community. I'm a part of this district. Those parts that fell there, cappuccino, I'm a part of it. So everything I'm seeing here tonight, everything I've heard here tonight, is something that you all just confirmed for me. So I just want to let everyone know that. And I also want to mention and say that as a family, what does a family do in a time of crisis? Right. Right. And because the family comes together, this is the time for us to take action as a community, to work together Years ago, I was the area counselor for all of the PTAs here in San Bruno when Crestmore was in the PTA. And my charge was to oversee and try to bring everyone come together, meetings with Dr. Khan on a monthly basis. I was overwhelmed. I couldn't do it anymore, and especially now that because I became a board member, I had to pass it on to another group of parents. We have an amazing group of parents who stepped up when I actually revitalized the council in San Bruno. And these group of families, these parents now are meeting on a monthly basis. I'm involved in this committee. I'm also, all the PTOs attend this meeting as well. And I'm just amazed with what can be done when we work together. And that was the main reason, my main purpose on why I wanted to revitalize the council in San Bruno. Because I wanted us to come together and work together. So seeing everyone here, we need to keep this going. I don't want it just to die down tonight. I really would like to suggest to this board that we form a committee, an SOS committee, a Save Our Schools committee, so we can all come together. So we can all come together to make sure this doesn't happen in our community. I love this community. It's the reason why I became a school board member, because I want to give back what it gave me as a child of my sister as well. And I have always said I am against school closure, and I again tonight I will give you my word. I've given it before, and I will give it again. I will vote no on school closure. And then one thing also, I heard parents come up and said that we need to challenge. Well, you know what? I want to take you guys up on the calendar now. I'm challenging you, I'm challenging our community to truly come together. And I heard about energy. We need to keep the energy going. Now, are you willing to keep the energy going to make sure that... Although I wasn't a member on the DDAC committee, I attended as an observer. Because I know that board bylaws coming was not allowed. I'm glad I attended those meetings. I saw mother against mother, I saw father against father, I saw school against school. I don't want to see that in my community. That disgusted me. And that made me feel ashamed as being a board member. But you know what? I don't want to see that happen again to them. And I would just like to say one more thing. I too am all for new leadership in this district. I also want to say to my board members, let's form this committee tonight if possible and keep this energy going.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes, sorry. Actually, I'm. Yeah, I have it, I think. Actually, I'm concerned about the motion as drawn because it really only says one thing: vote no against, and doesn't solve the problems that have gotten us to this place as it stands. I know everybody would like to say, how much time can we buy? Is it 1, 2, 3, 5 years or something? And that's what we're not doing with this kind of a motion. Exactly. It's the kind of thing of saying that just saying no doesn't get us out of the problems that we're in and the trade-offs that we face. People wanted to know what that amount of money is that we're short. And I would say that in the current year, we're spending, it's over, over $3 million that we're spending more than we've taken in. And it stands over the, excuse me, now it's our turn. Now over, as far as this projected 2013, 2014, that can potentially grow to $4.4 million. Now, is this the only kind of thing that we can do? And by no means. But what are those kinds of solutions that as a community we're going to come together for? And I think that's our responsibility to say, if something is on or off the table, taking it off the table has consequences as well. And it's not to say, to be insensitive to the needs of the community and to what people are going through and have gone through this whole process. But to get to the point to say that to take off the table and not replace it with something with holding ourselves accountable. By when will we make up that kind of a deficit? And what will we do if we can't and if we don't? Now, I hear, and I'm very impressed with what people would say for things to raise funds. But in an enterprise like a school district, what this really requires is, as you know, paying people every month. Is the kind of thing that you'd pay every year. Is that kind of ongoing funding that's not that the district can rely on. I think that's really what gets us to the point of these kinds of discussions. Because really it's just to try to make you to understand what we see is the fact that cuts are painful. What they do in terms of the district being able to keep going is they establish that what we can do for that year and plan for the following years as well. To just raise money over even with as much emotion and as much coming together as we do, we need to find a way. And I think what I'm challenging to say is it's not merely raising a sum of money. It's finding a vehicle to endow the district to be that point. How long can this last? How stable are we willing to make it be? If it is a matter of, for a year, then this question will be back next year. If it's a matter of it being, if it's something that we can get stable funding for the schools, then that's as long as we can kind of keep these things going. These kinds of, when we are placed here to make a lot of difficult choices, I think the problem that we face in trying to get to closure on these things is that at least there are decisions to make. I think the fear here is that these kinds of running millions of dollars more than we're taking in, we can't sustain that here. We can't, and no school district around could. So I think in these things, these reports go out. I think as others have said, Heidi said, through board meetings and all, and we need to find a way to make that communicated to everybody. There's just those kinds of straits that we're in. And I think then the solutions derive from that. But so I guess what I would say is to understand some of the district has looked at a lot of many different things, and some of them are solutions for next year that if you hadn't been painted, you might not know either. It's been incorrectly reported that we would have one less principal in the district based on a decision tonight. And that actually is not the case. The board gave direction to the superintendent and staff to cut a principal for next year, regardless of whether a school closes or not. In which case, then, it stands to reason that a principal perhaps would be shared between two schools. That, in a sense, is a tool to try to save money. Now, how does that play into everything? It's going to change the complexion of the schools. But those are the kinds of things, those kinds of trade-offs that we can't just vote away or wish away. Not when it's our responsibility. Because I think inaction on those is action. Those kinds of things these seats come with that kind of responsibility. Another matter I think Mr. Kiley brought up was the fact that over last year, we were looking to the point of having combination classes in every class, for example, at Crestmore. You would have K1 and 1-2 and 2-3. By putting in an additional teacher, it actually kind of made it so there was one teacher at every grade. That kind of adds in then to that run that we have to make up, to that added deficit that we have for this year. I think it was something we needed to do, but I think it's that kind of stability into it that we have to provide for ourselves. I really appreciate the passion of everybody for both schools. In fact, I don't wish to close any school. However, as the motion goes now, it's a vote against, and it's not for anything, and that I can't support. I can't support something where it'd be just say no without taking an obligation to what are we going to do. Now, I think the big hole that comes is probably in November. That's what our That's where we really know, like, whether the governor's things pass and what we do. If I think I would say that should be the time by which we hold ourselves accountable. If you really want to say, let's come together as, excuse me, had your chance.
Excuse me, please. This is a time by parliamentary procedure that the board has a motion, and it's our discussion. It's not that I want to cut you or Ms. Correa or this other lady off. This is our point in time that we need to discuss this. And obviously, Mr. Martinez has some concerns, and we need to hear him, please. So don't think I'm being rude.
If I can continue, what I'm saying is that I think that where we stand to just say no is inadequate. Now, at the next item actually we were to talk about tonight was the possibility of a parcel tax, and I'm heartened to hear that people were favorable to something like that. And I think, in fact, that might be the kind of a thing where, for the length of time that may take, if we have it for 5 or 7 years or something like that, that provides stable funding to the schools, and that's exactly what we would need. If
you want to have him amend his motion to include that.
Thank you.
If you'd be willing to
well, it's not a matter. It's whether you want to make a motion to amend the motion.
Yeah,
that's up to you.
Yeah, I would move that we not close schools.
No.
But
amend the motion.
Amend.
We're talking about amending.
Yeah, I'd like to amend your motion to include readdressing the issue based on a successful parcel tax and a reevaluation of the district's finances in November.
I'll second that.
On the amendment.
To the chair, may I have that read back to me, please?
Well, actually, so I can make it again.
I was going to ask that you read it.
Okay, let's get one
second. One thing at a time. Just do it. You can do it.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Kill the schools first and then go to the second motion.
Please.
No, it won't do.
Your amendment was to
not close schools for the next school year, yet address the issue in November based upon a stable funding source for the schools, including the parcel tax and our structural deficit.
And that's been seconded, okay?
Yes.
And that deserves a vote.
Yes.
Okay, does anybody disagree with that?
No.
Okay.
Through the chair, I'm sorry. I could not hear the motion. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, the microphones are not really working good tonight, and I apologize. The motion is, you heard the original motion, and that Mr. Martinez made an amendment that we
not close schools for the next school year.
No.
But it address and
hold on.
No,
Please, ladies.
Not to close any.
Please, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, can you please head change and readdress the issue in November. Following.
Wait. Okay. There's a motion to amend the motion. Please, ladies and gentlemen, we're trying to iron this out. Please let us do our job. I know you don't think we are, but please let me do my job at least. In any case, we have an amendment.
Really?
I'm sorry?
Do
you want to withdraw it? Or?
No. To readdress it in November based upon the district's finances.
Jeez. Please, ladies and gentlemen. And there's been a second by Mr. Prescott.
Mm-hmm.
Can we have a roll call vote, please, on the amendments to the motion?
Ms. Blanco?
I'm sorry,
The motion?
To amend the motion.
Okay, to amend the motion not to close the school in the 2012-2013 school year and to address the issue again in November based upon the district's finances.
And funding sources, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's not what I'm
You want
saying.
our money, you don't want our support
That's
to
not what I'm
help
saying.
build the district.
Please, ma'am. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please.
Okay.
We're trying to iron this out, and you're not helping us by shouting out. I'm trying to help you. Okay? In any case. Jennifer, did you understand the amendment? Okay.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Prescott?
No.
Dr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
No. Ms. Blanco?
I'd like to maybe speak about or make a motion to create a committee. So that we can
We're
take
on another motion right now, and we can't do that. I'm sorry. Okay, on the motion to not reject the superintendent's recommendation and not close the school. I believe that is the first question that we need. We can take subsequent motions following that, but we need to get that issue over with.
I second it.
And it's been seconded. We'll call for a vote. Roll call, please.
Ms. Blanco?
This is to reject the recommendation.
Right.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Mr. Martinez?
No.
Mr. Prescott?
Yes.
Dr. Sanchez?
Yes.
Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
I'd like to, through the chair, make a motion to extend the meeting. It's after 10 to 10:30. Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to extend the meeting till 10:30. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. So
Jennifer,
now,
weren't you going to make a motion?
I'd like to make the motion that we create a committee to save our schools, to come together, so that this is not on the agenda.
I'll second
So
it.
that we take care of ourselves.
It's not on the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
is there any question from the board? Then roll call vote, please.
Ms. Blanco?
Aye.
Mr. Martinez?
Aye.
Mr. Prescott?
Yes.
Dr. Sanchez?
Yes.
And Mr. Henderson?
Yes.
Hi. I just, at my work, we use this book. It's called Who Took My Cheese? Have you heard of it?
No, yes, I've heard of it, but I don't.
It's a really small book, and I want everybody to read it. The people who become the SOS committee and all of you. But I can give you and tell you the book in 2 minutes. It's a book about mice. There's 4 mice, and every day they go to the same place. They get their water and they get their cheese. One day, the cheese is gone. 2 of the mice decide that they're going to go look for new cheese. And 2 of the mice stay and say, no, we'll wait here for cheese. Well, the 2 mice that stay and wait for the cheese to come to them, they die. And the 2 mice that go off and look for new cheese, they find really good new cheese. All kinds of new cheese.
We need to find new cheese. That's it.
Good evening. My name is Suzanne Korea, and as you can see, I have no need for a microphone. I am a proud San Bruno parent who has 3 children currently attending Rollingwood Elementary School. One of my children will be going to Parkside next year as the entering 6th grade class. I've listened all night long. Some of you have read. Very nicely enough, Martin Ricker was nice enough to put my email that I had sent out to many of you San Bruno families up on his website as an op-ed. So you all know where I stand on what's going on here. I can tell you that I know we can do amazing things together. And I can tell you that if we can keep this energy up and bring it into this SOS committee, which is frankly a great name as far as I'm concerned, that we can make amazing things happen. But I also know, because I'm a parent who has been very actively involved in PTA, that this discussion isn't going to we can't wait till November, okay? We need to do it now, and we need to do it all summer long. This committee needs to form now. We need to get ideas now. We need to start taking action now, because it takes time, okay? We are not San Carlos. For those of you who may or may not be aware, on an annual basis, the San Carlos Education Foundation collects $2 million that they give to their schools every year. We're not in that ballpark, okay? And so it's going to take us a little bit more time. And what I'm asking for is for everybody to stop and think about what you've got in your heart right now, what you've got in your head, and all that energy, and everything you're thinking about, so that when we're in July, when we're in August, when we're in October, and well, in November, we can still have this kind of a community energy, this kind of bringing together, this kind of joining together. San Bruno's an amazing city. Amazing, amazing city. And I have been really privileged as the council president for the San Bruno PTAs, who work not only with the 5 members of the PTA council, but with the 2 PTOs. I have to tell you, Crestmore, thank you. Last night, they did an amazing thing. We are trying to get a free summer school for all San Bruno children started in cooperation with the library. Last night, not only did Crestmore vote to join our efforts, but they're giving us $250 completely. I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for a dime. All I wanted to know was that they were going to help us, and they stepped up in a big way. Thank you, Crestmore. It's amazing when people come together, and it's amazing what can happen in our district when we come together. So I'm inviting all of you, please don't give up. Please do not give up. There's amazing things that can happen, and this is all for our kids. Thank you.
I guess I'm going to yell if this isn't working. I'd like to thank Suzanne and Joe Capote especially. I'm going to be working with them on getting the summer program going. I'd like to offer myself as a volunteer for the committee. I'm a fundraising, that's what I do for a living. So I'd love to help the schools, and we're putting some great things together, and as a community supporter, and I want to say how grateful, how patient, how kind you all were to listen to us and take all of our passion and come up with a good solid foundation where we can leap from, and we can show you what we can do for you and for the community.
Joan Skinner again. I'm going to take off my El Crystal parent hat and put on my San Bruno Education Foundation hat for a minute. For those of you who do not know, we do have a San Bruno Education Foundation. We've been around for several years. The most recent large event we did was a Barnes & Noble book day. And we raise money, we give it to the schools, we give it to programs in the classrooms. We just gave $1,000 to each of the schools. We raised money last spring for instruments for the Parkside Music Program. That's the kind of thing that we do, and we stand ready to help with the committee that has just been formed, and we look forward to hearing from all of you. I will email out in the morning. Those of you who've been getting emails, I'm going to send an email out in the morning with the foundation information, and please consider donating to us. We are a 501(c)(3), It is tax deductible. It goes into the schools, the public schools, these schools that we're talking about tonight. Thank you.
One more thing. I'm passing out sign-up sheets for parents and keeping to your word. Challenging you. We are challenging you. Say you're going to follow through your words. So the sign-up sheets coming around. Please sign it.
Okay. I'd like to bring this item. Go ahead, Bruno. I want to get back on the agenda. We do have 15 minutes to discuss a parcel tax for November. I think that's an important issue that we begin a discussion on, and I would like to have the board at least say what they have to say before we open it up to the public. And if anybody in the public wants to say anything on it, please be short. Okay?
Through the chair.
Mr. Martinez.
I would like to see us proceed with the parcel tax, but also to poll again and actually include support for our neighborhood schools, specifically how that would play into a parcel tax language.
Are you making that as a motion?
No, we're not at that.
Let me respond to this. So one part of there is no way that I'm going to spend another dollar of district money on another pollster.
Then we're not going to know what we're...
Well, I'll tell you what.
We didn't spend a penny last time.
That's true.
It didn't pass.
Well,
in any case, we have a lot of energy in this room that's looking for a direction. And this is one way that we can channel that energy into doing something positive for the school, period. I'm not going to put up one dime of the district. I'm not going to vote for it. I don't think we need it. We already know that most likely the bond issue would have passed last year in November if we hadn't had school closure hanging over our head. We know that, all right? And all we'd have needed is another 200, 250 votes and we would have passed. But the other thing was, unfortunately, the city council didn't have to have an election because nobody challenged. So that limited the number of people that came to the polls. I think we would have been able to edge it out, but that's beside the point. The situation is, I think we have the energy right now in this district to be able to do this and do it properly. The only thing that I am concerned about, number one, is I don't want it being perceived by anybody that we're doing this to blackmail you. Okay? And if we say, the reason why I didn't vote for your motion, Mr. Martinez, was that in essence that's what you were saying. You were conditioning this vote on passing of a parcel tax. That would have been tantamount to blackmail. And I think that's what the state is already doing to us. But that's beside the point. I think that we have the energy and we need to give it the ability to be channeled and do it positively. And I think we can get a parcel tax passed. What a parcel tax means is, number one, by virtue of our previous consultant, he said if we pass a tax for $99, it would appreciate to about $1.1 to $1.2 million to the district. Okay? That's a good thing. That's including a senior exemption, so that the people who are on fixed incomes will be able to opt out if they choose. And if we don't do that, we'll fail. Okay? But I'll be darned if I want this thing to be perceived as a blackmail on the community. And that's what I think that your motion in essence did. However, this is something we need to do, and I think we have the ability to do it. And we have also a timeline that we have to meet. We have to have this done by June or July. That's why it's on the agenda tonight, so that we could broach the subject to the community, to the board, so that we can start to develop a consensus on this. If we have consensus and we want to move forward to it, then we need to move into that process. I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to make that motion if I have to. And so on, because Ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand in terms of what the state has done with us over the past few years. We're responding. They cut our budget this year mid-year, after we've already established a budget for everything that we're doing in this district, and we had to cut on that. That's why we experienced so many layoffs. That's not right. But we have to respond to what the state does. And that, I think, is a tragedy, that every school district in the state has to apply that logic, which is not logical. But that's why we had to do a lot of these things. But you know what? We don't get credit for all of the good things that we've done over the past couple of years, which we've staved off school closure. We've staved off layoffs until last year. It's the first time in many years that we've had to lay off. I'll probably get corrected by Mr. Kiley and a few other people, but that's okay. The bottom line is that we don't do these things intentionally. We're reacting. And by passing a parcel tax is going to be the beginning of us, hopefully, to begin planning again, as Mr. Kirtner has said. Thank you for being there. In any case, this man has a lot of energy and a lot of good ideas. And if he doesn't step up to the committee, I'm going to shoot you. In any case, I think we really need to do this. It's only going to raise, if we do it for $100, we're going to raise about $1 million. If we do it for $200, we're going to raise $2 million. That would be a lot better, but does everybody want to take on the burden of another $200 a year in taxes on your homes? You know, everybody says, I'd pay $500. Well, I'll tell you what.
For our kids.
I understand that. But what you have to understand is that whatever money we do raise as a part of this has to be specified exactly as to what we're going to use it for. If we put it into program, if we put $100,000 into a program, guess what? You've just reduced your whole program, or your whole pile of money for the next 7 years, because that's going to a program. You've got to do it on one-time expenditures such as curriculum. We're going to be required to revamp our entire curriculum starting in 2014. Guess what? We don't get the money from the state. Where are we going to get the money to do that? We need an English language arts program in the district. We've been going for 12 years without a new adoption. Now, English language arts, as you all know, is probably the most important of our curriculum content. And we need to revamp that. It's probably going to cost us about $1 million. That's 1 year. Then the second year we do social studies, math, science, or whatever the case might be, that we can afford from that. Now that's my idea. I know the board has other ideas, and we haven't heard them, but we need to hear them. And you need to hear us what we would intend to do. And keep in mind that whatever we put on the ballot measure, we have to do. We can't willy-nilly around on it. If we say we're going to spend X amount of dollars on curriculum, then X amount of dollars we're going to have to spend. So anyway.
Through the chair, if I can just clarify, when you said about the potential of it looking like blackmail, that wasn't my intent.
I know
what I'm saying, although what I'm saying is that by November, the issue is that we already know that what the state's action may, if the governor's initiative fails, that's looking at $951,000 less. If this passes or fails, that has consequences as well. That's all I'm saying is that we should specifically put in a parcel tax to support our small neighborhood schools and let San Bruno support that. And that gives us a stable funding source. That's my only. If the other shoe has to drop, then it will drop at that time. But we're going to be in a real hole and potentially over $1 million. So that was my intent, not to ask for blackmail money.
Through the chair, I think we should move on parcel tax. I'd like to have this item brought back for action at the next meeting and look at the possibility of what the parcel tax would include at $100, at a $200 level. And I think we need to move on it now.
Dr. Sanchez?
I concur. I think if we want to take control of our financial well-being for the district and support the neighborhood schools, these are the things that we have to do as a community, and it has to be done. There's basically not a lot of other choices, and I think showing what people have shown tonight in terms of the commitment to neighborhood schools and what they want, this is what we have to do as a community to do that, and we will support that and provide the leadership for that. And we have to provide solvency for the school district. That's something that is our main goal. You have to make choices. It's not fun, but this is what you elected us to do. And so we will make those choices, and we will reach out to you and ask you to help. And this is one of them, as an example of that, in supporting a parcel tax and moving it to an action item, a discussion for next time.
Mr. Skinner.
Briefly, I stayed last week and heard the financial discussion, which was very good, by the way, about how much money we're short if Jerry Brown's tax increase doesn't pass. So my recommendation is, if you're going to go for the parcel tax, and you've got to have the support of the community if you're going to get it to pass. You can't have New Jersey money. It won't work. It's got to be these people here. It's got to be San Bruno. It's got to be homegrown. Right. If you're going to do it, double down. Do it for 200.
Mr. Skinner, question. Would you work on the committee to pass it?
Not with New Jersey dirty money.
No, I'm talking for $200. Are you willing to do it?
Not with New Jersey dirty money. Not with your dirty union money, no.
Looking at the figures that were handed out in the agenda packet, I happen to have right next door to me a 5-unit apartment building, and this says that the fee for that would be $100 per unit with a 5-unit cap. So that unit would be paying $500 under this parcel tax scheme that we have.
That's the whole
chart.
building.
Right. And my concern is that we have buildings in the city that are much, much, much larger than that, with a great number of units. And it seems to me grossly unfair that the nice man who owns the building next door to me is going to be paying very much less than people who are making a lot more money on much larger complexes. So I suggest that you revisit this chart and see what can be done to make it more equitable for the, people like my landlord next door, who is really in the 99%. He's not a member of the 1%. He's not a corporation. He's just a single guy who owns a building. And there are large corporations that own big buildings in this city. I think they should pay a little bit more than my neighbor. Thank you.
That's a point well taken, and but we have to keep in mind that whenever this whole parcel tax is developed, if we're going to give exemptions, we have to understand the consequences of those as well. So we've got our homework to do, and we need all the help we can from the community, and so on and so on. Joe,
in wondering about Joan's comment, instead of having it be a set number per unit or property, what about a percentage of existing tax? Is that not feasible?
The state is pretty clear in how we go about doing money. You can either do it prorated on the value of your home, which is a bond issue. There's only certain things you can do with the bond issue money. We can't use it unless we apply for it and go through all that falderall and getting permission to do that, to do this, okay? And so on. A parcel tax is different. We have to do what we specify in the language, not in the arguments, but in the language. We have to be very specific, and we have to do what we say. Now, we can have exemptions like Ms. Skinner just brought up, or whatever. We can do whatever. We can give out all the money we want with exemptions and what's left. Okay? That's why we need the input and the energy of this community to get behind this. Okay? I don't want this to be a turnout like in the bond issue last year. I want this to succeed. I want this to be able to sustain whatever it's meant to fund.
In regards to the Jersey money comment, I was unclear. I was wondering if the board, have any ideas on how to alleviate that concern in specifying the parcel tax.
Well, the parcel tax is going to have a committee. We can't be on the committee per se. We can be individually, but we can't be the committee for the bond or the parcel tax. We can all 5 belong to the committee, but we can't belong to it as a board. Okay, we can't. Individually, we can't. What I think was referred to about New Jersey money is I'm from New Jersey. I have family in New Jersey. And you don't get anything done in New Jersey unless you have the unions behind you. Okay? Now, the bond committee last year took a lot of flack because the consultant that was working with the committee had gone out to all of the contractors that helped build Parkside School. And they donated a lot of money. That, I believe, is what Mr. Skinner was referring to. He doesn't want that. Am I right, Mr. Skinner?
I apologize to everyone in the room from New Jersey or
In any case. And that's what he was referring to. And I can't say that I disagree with that. So,
in defining the parcel tax, would you talked, Mr. Martinez, about it being specified to keep small community schools open.
Specify that as in the language of the measure.
I wonder if there would be a timeline associated with that, 3 years or 5 years, or.
That's one of the decisions would be how long it would run. You can have it. You can ask that it be very long. But those typically, it's like you have a diminishing chance of having something passed the longer you ask people to. You can even ask the amount be indexed, but if and go up over time, but you're less likely to have people want that kind of a thing. Then, you have to. It's like weighing. It's more popular if it's shorter, but you want it to be stable. It's trying to find that spot that your community will support.
It actually specifies in the.
So you say in it before you go out for how long this parcel tax would last, and it would be
5 years.
It's a choice, But to ask it to be 10 years, perhaps that's the point where people would say, no, I'm not going to do this. It's that kind of a trade-off that you're asking, to make it still an attractive thing for people to pass.
I know.
Thank you.
Okay. Before you say, we've already passed our deadline. And we also have a closed session after the meeting. And I'm going to ask that these two people please be short, okay? And
yes, mine is definitely short. I wanted to ask Ms. Blanco. You mentioned at the last voting, was it a parcel tax? It was only short by 250 votes.
Well, the bond issue.
Well, that's the measure. Well, that's incredible, because if we had those kids who spoke tonight with all their energy and they did such a wonderful job, we could bring those kids and all of our kids canvassing the neighborhood. I just think we would have a much better outcome.
I just want to say thank you to the board members and to every one of you up there. People don't say that enough, but you work really late all the time. The time that you guys see them here and the time you don't see them here. They have tons of meetings. It's all voluntary. And I'm so proud of Elena Sanchez. I've known her since she was little, and she was a kid from CAP who spoke tonight. And she taught us something. And she said, let's keep civility and let's respect both sides. And I want to keep that in mind. And the last day before we lose too many parents, I think we lost most of them already, but let's change this energy. In my whole career here at Crestmore and San Bruno School District, I've seen some big meetings when there's some rallying up about something or other. But I have never seen a huge meeting like last time and this time. Let's not lose that opportunity. Let's turn that around. I want you all here to pledge to support the tax or whatever else it is to help our school district. People don't want to pay up $100 or whatever a year. Well, look what is at stake. And parcel tax are really hard to pass. So we're going to need all of you and all of your relatives and everybody out there. I work on Measure O, and I'm telling you that we have a group of parents who work really hard, but there are so many parents. I can't believe it. I mean, the parent would be the one who would be benefiting, and yet they were against Measure O. And so, so I'm going to. All right, I'm going to just.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I just had a quick question, just so I understand, because I like things like kind of to the point. So just so I understand exactly what happened tonight. So we voted down. You voted down not to do Dr. Hutt's plan that showed up on Friday.
Yes.
You are not closing any schools for next school year.
Yes.
But in November, you will bring this issue back up.
No.
If we haven't.
No, it's going to come up as a natural process just in our budget. But I think what Kevin was referring to, the governor has initiatives.
Right.
But we need to do for ourselves. We can't depend on the state passing it. Okay? At least this.
It's without reservation now.
So right now it's no schools to be closed, and then we're going to be making sure that everything passes. Now, what happened? The parcel tax doesn't pass, the governor's things don't pass, the PTA things don't pass. Then school closure comes back up. Possibly.
I would say that it will be back on the table. Yes.
Okay. But if everything goes well, it won't be back on the table.
I would say not. Yes.
If we do what we said we're committed to doing, we won't have to bring it back to the table.
Right. Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I'm like to the point and I was very confused. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Ray?
Thank you.
Hold on.
Thanks for listening to everybody tonight. Very emotional meeting. This is, for Henry and Kevin, I think this is going to be hard to hear because of how you voted tonight and because of why you voted tonight. You know, you're very fiscally responsible. But I think something does need to change. The environment needs to change for this parcel to be successful. Something needs to change, and I think what needs to change is that the community feels
Ladies and gentlemen, please, we can hardly hear
the community feels like the issue of school closure isn't looming over their head like a specter. I think that would be a very large impediment to the successful passing of a parcel, which, you now have to call out the community and say, you need to support this. This community has to support this district in this manner. It's undeniable. We have to give a couple $100 of our money every year to support this district. But I think what would really help me go through is if you took school closure off the table for a couple of years and you voted that, you basically vote tonight that you're not going to bring this issue up for a few years and remove that specter. I think that would be a positive move, difficult but positive, because I don't like to see this vicious cycle continue where we're alienating people and then we're removing people like Mr. Capote gave up. With all his children, they were, they're breaking my heart. But Mr. Capote is somebody who's putting his heart and soul into an effort that this district is going to benefit from, and now he's saying, I don't want to be involved anymore. That breaks my heart even more, because I think that's a valuable asset that we're removing from the district that we need. So would you consider taking school closure off the table for a period of time right now, tonight?
Let's put it this way. After November, if the legislature initiatives pass and our initiatives pass, it's not going to be on the table. But what if they don't? I'm just going to give you a little example. Does everybody understand what a qualified and non-qualified budget means? A qualified budget means that you can meet your obligations and you can sustain your program. A non-qualified budget is one that a district would file that they can't meet their budgetary needs. This year, there are 9 school districts in the state of California who filed a non-qualified budget. That's nine schools. Next year, there's going to be about 170. That may not mean anything to you, but it means something to me for education. It means something to me because of what is not happening at the state. Everybody thinks that I'm being a wacko saying this, but you got to understand that this is being put on the people through us by the state. Believe me, Dysfunction Junction has got to stop doing business as they have typically done over the years, and all this partisan bickering has got to stop. But do you think they listen to me? No. They don't listen to San Bruno. They don't even listen to San Francisco or Oakland. Oakland School District this year is going to close 17 schools because of this budget crisis. Could we stand any closing one school? No. But we may face it, and we're going to have to face up to the fact that if the state doesn't come up with something to help out the school districts, we're going to have to face it down. That's not a pleasant thing to say, but it's the truth. Regardless of how you people feel about how we handle our budget and our money, regardless of what everybody says, you know what? We've had audits every year, clean audits, and our budget, as Dr. Sanchez tried to talk about earlier, was our budget gets submitted to the county. They review our budget, and we have to sign off on it again. The president of the board every year has to sign off on that budget for the county. Then it goes to the state and goes through another process with the state. So that's the nature of our budget process. Am I right or wrong?
That's a nice summary.
Okay, thank you. So I'm not lying to you in terms of what we're going through. We are going through a definite fiscal crisis here. But fortunately, we're still on the qualified side. We still have the ability to sustain next year. After that, it's going to be up in the air. And the only people we can depend on are ourselves, because we cannot depend on the state. Now, we're 10 minutes over time. We need to go into closed session, and I'm going to call the meeting under item E. Jesus, I'm sorry. Got things out of order. We need to move on, and we need to get this done. So
during this meeting,
no, we can't adjourn it. We're going to adjourn it back to the closed session.
Yeah, we're going to go recess.
Yeah, we're going to recess into closed session right now. Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, while they're on recess, we need help cleaning all these chairs up, please. So if you could,
thank you.
Take the chair you're sitting on, the chairs down. If you could, please.